Hello. Wow, we're using my chibi body. Why can't I hear myself? Hold up. There we go. I was like, why can't I hear myself? I forgot to mute. Oops. Hi. How's SUBATHON been going along? One, I've been lots of subs, and two, the holidays. So I haven't been streaming every day. Hi, everybody. We're using my chibi mod today. I don't think I've used this in like 3 months. I feel like we should use this model today. Sorry, I was gonna stream at 12, but then I woke up late. I slept through my alarm. So I unfortunately had to move stream over. Hold on, let me start the timer. Start timer. Start timer. But hi, hello. I woke up late and I was like, oh my god. Oh my goodness. I have to do some stuff around my house. So I had to push stream like an hour, but that's okay. It'll be a short stream today, by the way, guys. I have a my therapist appointment later today, so it'll be a pretty short stream. Yippee, yippee, yippee. Hopefully we can knock out the rest of the subathon either by this weekend. By this weekend, because if technically nobody subs, I get like what 4-ish hours down today. I have like 5.5, and then I'll probably stream. Oh, maybe I can get it down tomorrow. That's if nobody subs, which if that happens, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. A little different today. Yeah, we're using my chibi model today. I low-key missed my chibi model. Want more, Sai? You know what to do. No, please! I have a family! Wow, Dragmire, thank you for the 2,000 bits. Unfortunately, bits don't count. It's only subs, but I appreciate the 2,000s. Bits, I appreciate it. Yeah, only subs count, unfortunado, which sucks because I know there's some people who like watching on YouTube. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Hey, I've been watching your videos and streamed a decent amount. It's probably my first time. Probably my first message at the beginning of the stream. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Wow. I feel like a lot of you guys have been coming from my YouTube videos, which I appreciate. I was gonna say something and I already forgot. I don't want to yap too long today because I want to get to the videos. We're actually gonna be watching some One Piece videos today because I really want to watch some One Piece videos. So hopefully that is okay. I did throw one M&J TV video in there, but it'll be at the end. I'll do we're gonna do 4 videos and then 3 of them are One Piece. Yeah, because I have brain worms. I have really bad brain worms. My favorite anime ever. Also, I'm sipping, okay. I don't know, I have a question. I don't know if anybody in chat. So I usually for breakfast, at least on the weekdays, I drink like protein coffees or like some form of protein smoothie. Now, I have tried multiple, what do you call it? Protein powders, and there was only one that I've really liked, and it was this protein, there's one protein powder, it's called Ghost. I really like that, but here's the problem. I have a really, it's really expensive. It's like $50 to $60 for a tub of that. So I decided to try out a new protein powder that one of my friends really likes. And I don't know what it is about other protein powders, but it just makes whatever I drink taste like shit. Like it tastes awful to me. And I'm drinking it right now, and I had to add like a bunch of fruit into my smoothie to make it taste bearable. Like, I'm gonna take a sip right now. It's fine, but I hate the taste of it. I don't know what it is, and I've like had a bunch of protein powders that taste just like this, and I'm like, is protein powders just like this? Is it literally just taste like this? Alex Jacob, thank you for the membership. I appreciate it. Thank you for 20 months. Holy shit. 20 months. That's a long time. That's a very long time. That's actually a long time. You're insane. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hold on. Let me pull up this really quick. Let me make the Spotify music a little louder on the Twitch side. Speaking of MJTD, first time checking out your stream. YouTube recommended you since I watch MJ and I've been binge watching your reaction videos. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Ended up being cake mix. Oh, I saw that. No, I actually never heard that before. Did you make it to Dressrosa yet? No. I'm gonna be finishing Fishman Island hopefully by the end of this week. Fingers crossed I can finish it by the end of this week. I've been taking my time in One Piece. I've been watching just other shows right now. I've been watching other shows. I don't know. I haven't been watching much. Literally, I haven't been watching much anime other than One Piece, if I'm being quite honest with you. You made it to the new world? Yeah, I'm just like kind of mad. I went from like peak One Piece to Buds. That's what I'm mad about. Like, how did we get from such a great saga, like the Marineford saga, thrown straight into Fishman Island, and it's like not fun? It gets better. I freaking hope so. Holy shit, I'm so tired. I'm actually like so burnt out from watching One Piece. I feel so bad because Briggs and Jordan have been asking me to get back on the One Piece podcast, and I'm like, I didn't finish the episodes yet, so I can't come back on. Dressrosa is long as hell. Here's the thing with like, I'm not too scared of Dressrosa because I heard at least it's fun. But like, Fishman Island is not that fun. It's just Hody Jones fucking yapping for 20 years. Like, dude, literally, I just like want him to shut the fuck up. Gaming School, thank you for the follow. Thank you. I just need Hody Jones to shut his mouth. That's all I need him to do. Just shut your mouth, bro. I do not care. I hate Hody Jones. For real. Speaking of One Piece, I went to Locals last night. And my god, so if you guys don't know, I go to One Piece and Pokemon TCG Locals. Those are the two main card games I play. So I go on a pretty weekly basis. So I've been going to Pokemon for years, like ever. I've been going on and off since I was a kid, but I've been going consistently for like 3+ years now. Ever since like the you-know-what was over in 2020. Anyways, I started going to One Piece about a year ago, and I feel like my One Piece locals, there's some people there that literally just hate me. They literally hate me for no reason. So I became friends with somebody over there, and I talked with them yesterday. And I was just like, I have a question. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. Do you know if these group of people just hate me? Because every single time I try to talk to them or like, you know, play them, they give me such poor attitude. And then this person goes, you know what, Sai? I don't think they hate you. He said, they have told me they're really scared of you. Because you're better than half the players in this room. And I'm just like, is that what it is? Is that what it is? And I was just like, are you sure? Like, that sounds like so stupid. Like, I don't know if that's a valid reason to act like that to me. And they're like, no, they're just really scared of you. That's why they act like that. And then this guy goes Oh, I don't know if maybe this information helps, but they also play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was just like, oh, okay. Never mind. That makes sense. What did you do to them? I don't know. I don't know. I just play game. I play game. They can't handle the competitive. Yeah, no, because they were just like, Sai, you play meta and you're good at playing meta. So that's why. What do you mean it makes sense? That's what I was saying. I'm like, what? Yu-Gi-Oh players, am I right? Yu-Gi-Oh player, understandable. Have a great day. I've been avoiding logos because I hate this meta from One Piece, but love the game. Dude, it's gonna change once OP14. Can everybody say 07 to my wallet for Boa Hancock? You know what? Somebody give me like $400 so I can build Boa Hancock. That was like half a joke. Please don't do that. Actually, I should let you guys know my donation link is not working right now, so please don't send any tips. Actually, I'm being so for real right now. Please do not actually send me any tips. Because there's something wrong. So please don't, because it's not working. What's $400 in subs? I don't know. Can someone do math? Cause same Boa and more Wano support. All the green, yellow Yamato players, raise your hands! Raise your hands right now! Okay, actually, hold up. I think I can disconnect it. Okay, sick. Yeah, the tipping on my thing isn't working yet. Can we get you to at least watch more One Piece? I am watching more One Piece. I am watching more One Piece. Nah, for real. I think, I'm not even kidding. I'm gonna be spending maybe like $500 to $600 on One Piece this month. Cause I wanna buy boxes and I wanna build a Boa Hancock cause that's my waifu. I'm just kidding, I can't. Have you asked staff what happened to the donation button? Yeah, they're working on it. So if you guys don't know, I don't want to harp on this too much, but I feel like I have to remind everyone every stream. So my company, so I think some people forget that I'm a part of a VTuber agency. So I am in a VTuber agency called Mythos. We're all Greek god-inspired VTubers, hence why my name is Poseidon, and we're all gender bent. So all the male gods are female. Female are male, etc., etc. Anyways, so we had a change in ownership that got announced about a week ago. So a lot of this stuff, we've been having a lot of internal changes when it comes to staff, contracts, the way stuff works, and that includes payment methods. So that's why my donation link is not working right now, because we are in the process of potentially just getting new payment methods out of the way. But the thing is, that's a whole process that takes a while. It's not instant, which is why I'm like reminding everybody that, you know, just because we changed owners doesn't mean like you guys will see like everything change right away. It's one of those things that it takes time. It takes a lot of time. However, I will say I've known a lot of the talents here at Mythos have known about the change of ownership for months now. I've known, oh God, I don't even know how long. It's been definitely more than 3 months I've known about this. And there were plans set in place like, okay, if with the change of ownership, we're going to work on this, we're going to work on that. But the problem is, you know, with legal stuff going on, sometimes they couldn't get stuff done because legally they couldn't until like full ownership was given over. So now they're working on it and it takes time. So I appreciate everybody's patience. But for now, the tip button is not working. Donations are not working, as sad as that sounds. However, I will say, because technically we are in SUBATHON, if you would like to support me, do consider do consider subs, because one, it raises the timer, and two, we still have 2 more stretch goals to get through. We have the play magic for the first time, and then the ultimate stretch goal is a future YouTube video with my mother. I will make her react to VTubers. I will force my mother to react to VTubers. Would Mythos do Roman gods as a new gen? They are just Roman versions of Greek gods. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Guess you have to stick around this year and support us to find out, huh? We want Mother Rhea. I know. Everybody wants my mother. Everybody just wants to date my mom. It's funny because my mom is technically single. My mom is single, but she is not up for grabs. She's she's living her happy single life. She's enjoying her life being a single woman. And you know what? You know, props to her. How much does your mother understand of VTubing as a whole? Not much. Not much at all. My mother, she knows I stream. First of all, she knows I stream. She knows that I to her understanding, I did not say don't put words in my mouth. I'm talking as everybody as a whole. I was not talking specifically about you. I'm talking about my community. I feel like every time I bring my mother up, everybody is like, can I date your mom? Yeah, my mom, it's not that she's clueless. She's also low-key a boomer. Like, she doesn't get it. She doesn't understand. Like, the way I had to explain it to her is like, Mom, I'm an anime girl online. And she goes, oh, okay. And that's it. Like, that's literally it. Like, she knows and stuff, but she just doesn't get it. Like, it doesn't process in her head as easily as, like, I feel like other parents, you know? My dad knows as well. But he also is the same. He doesn't get it. He doesn't understand. Like, I showed him stuff and he's like, okay. Cool. I'm so glad. I'm so happy for you. That's literally how my dad went. He's like, I'm supportive, whatever. Whatever makes you happy, Sai. Whatever makes you happy. Can I date you to meet your mom, then thank her for making you? Unfortunately, I am not looking to date. I'm enjoying my single life right now. I mean, honestly, who would even want to date me? I'm too much. Dude, my friends can barely handle me. My mom's also born in exactly 1960. Brought me and my 3 siblings. Yippee. Base pops. Yeah. My father, I love my father. My stepmom though, because my dad did remarry, she kind of gets it, and it's funny because her kids get it too. So my step siblings, they know, because one of my step siblings partners is a VTuber enjoyer. And he's a fan of Nova. And so when I went to visit my dad over the summer, and I like got to hang out with my step siblings, and I was like hanging out with one of my stepsister and her boyfriend, she was just like, yeah, my boyfriend watches this VTuber named Nova. And I was just like, oh, that's so funny. What's her last name? Like, does she have a last name? Like, Nova Outcome. And I'm like, ha, 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 ha. Is your dad single? No. My dad is happily remarried. Happily remarried. My stepmom's great too. I'm very lucky to have a wonderful stepmom. It's funny, all my parents get along with each other. Like, even though my parents are technically separated, they get along. And my mom and my stepmom get along. And honestly, I feel like I could not ask for more. That's already so good, you know? By meeting her, by you thanking her. Yeah, cool step parents are a rare thing. They are, and I realize that because I have friends that have step parents too, and they don't have like the greatest relationship with them. But I know for sure when my dad was like looking to date, his number one thing on his list when it came to like looking for somebody to remarry was that he wanted somebody who would care about his kids as much as he did. That was his #1 priority. Like, even if he liked the person, if that person wasn't interested in his children, he was like, nope, sorry, this isn't gonna work out. So yeah, I'm very, very lucky. And same with my mom, because she was looking to date for a little bit, and then she like came to me recently and was like, yeah, you know, honestly, I don't want to date. She's like, I just enjoy, she enjoys being single and just hanging out with her friends too. And her children, of course. She feels like that's her purpose in life. So it's like, oh, you know, that's pretty cool. I appreciate that. Yeah, I respect that. Can I shake his hand? My father's very nice. He cares about his children. I can shill my parents for the rest of the stream. I love my parentals. They are awesome. Yeah, the biggest stretch goal, which I don't think we'll hit. I would be actually shocked if we were able to hit, like, what, we're like 1,300 subs away from the future YouTube video with my mother. I would be shocked if we hit that before the end of subathon. Because we have maybe like 2-3-ish streams probably until this is over. And then I'm probably going to be taking it easy moving forward because I'm tired. I'm tired. I also will be starting classes soon. Howdy, Science Chat. How's everybody doing today? I am doing swell. I'm having a little bit of a tummy ache, but it'll be fine. Can we all thank Poseidon's parents and clip it so she could show it to them? I could totally do that. I could totally do that. My mom's gonna be like, what's going on? My mom's like, Sai? Who's talking to me? Might as well thank the family tree. I do have a sibling. I have a sibling, another sibling. It's not Zeus or Hades, but I do have a sibling. She's pretty, she isn't into VTubers, but she... You're stuck with us. God damn it! Thank you for the 50. What the hell, Yonde? Thank you for the 50 gifted. Honey Peach, thank you for the follow. Thank you. Oh, what the fuck? What the hell, Yonde? Thank you. Can't leave. God damn, I was hoping to get it finished by tomorrow, the subathon. God damn it! You added like 2 more hours to the timer. I'm stuck in here. I'm very thankful though. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anyways, no escape. It's like, what is it? Not the, what's that meme where it's like, let me out, let me out. That's how I feel. You heard her gift more subs. No. Thank you though, I appreciate you. Thank you, Back Attack. Kick a chat alert. Haha, get loved. Damn it. I don't me get loved? Oh my goodness. And we started a hype train. What is this? Who gifted me a sub? Mac Attack. My goat. Mac Attack, my goat. Hi, Poseidon. Hi, all. Hello. Hello. Get supported, nerd. Get supported, nerd. I'm tired. Whoa! Level 8? We jumped all the way to level 8? Hello? That's crazy. That's insane. Can we get it up to level 9? We're 98% up to level 9. Guys, somebody commented on my alt. So I was making sourdough loaves at like midnight last night. And somebody asked me, was like, are you addicted? Do you need help? And all I can say to that is, maybe. I think I'm addicted to making bread. I have literally 4 loaves of bread sitting in my fridge, cold proofing right now. So after stream, or after my therapist appointment tonight, I will go bake some bread. How far are we completing the goals? We are about less than 300 subs away from the play magic for the first time. Yeah, next week, unfortunately, we will be doing a League of Legends stream. I say unfortunately because, yeah. Prismatic Paradox, thank you for the follow. You're making bread right now, to be fair. True, but like actual bread. I can't believe Sai doesn't want us to stay together. No, I do. I promise. I promise. Me being parasocial with chat. Yeah, I have 4 loaves of bread sitting in my fridge. And to be fair, I can only make 4 loaves of bread at a time. Yes, chat. All your subs will fund my sourdough bread making addiction, as well as my card gaming addiction, as well as my rent and my groceries. Because even then, I feel like nowadays, sometimes getting groceries is more expensive than eating out. You want to know how much I spent on groceries this month? So I used to actually be able to live off of $100 worth of groceries a month. I used to be able to do that. Nowadays, I buy like the same thing every time I go to the store. I get like chicken, vegetables to roast, rice, and like, you know, those are like the main 3 things. And then I'll get like milk and eggs and stuff. Maybe a few cans of Spam. And that grocery bill used to be like $100. Maybe, you know? Maybe. I buy the same crap now and it's like $200, $300. And I'm sitting here like, what the fuck? Like, huh? What? So you know what I've been doing? So I go to Jack in the Box, and this sounds really sad and probably really bad for you, but I promise, I go to like Jack in the Box or like Taco Bell, and I'll get like the family meal, which is like 20 bucks. And I can literally spread that between like 4 or 5 days. And that is cheaper than getting groceries. To be fair, it's definitely not as nutritious, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, you know? You gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah. God, it's so even my electric bill went up, which is insane to me. I don't do that all the time. There's definitely weeks where I'm just like, I don't want to cook. It's just nice to have like a chicken sandwich in the fridge. I can just microwave it, you know, just eat really quick. Wow! Dragmire, thank you for the 5 gifted. You guys keep raising the timer! I thought I was out. I actually thought I was out. Not CC Cleaner going, you have 20 performance issues. That sounds about right. I know. Struggle meals, like, I do like struggle meals. They'd be nice. Sometimes when I'm really lazy, so I either do like Spam, egg, and rice, or I'll do like a tuna mayo rice. I don't know if you guys had like onigiris they're like Japanese rice balls, and usually the most like basic one you can get is tuna mayo, but I usually do like a deconstructed onigiri, and I'll eat that. It's super good. But now I've been eating bread. I've been eating bread and fruit. I say as I'm sadly sipping my really nasty protein smoothie. I need to find a way to make this protein smoothies taste better, because holy shit, these taste so nasty. Spam, egg, and rice is so damn good. I feel like that's my ultimate struggle meal. But even then, I feel like Spam's getting expensive now. Spam, I don't know if it's considered struggle anymore. I remember a can of Spam was like $1.50, $2, and now it's like, what, $4 a can? What is this? What the fuck is this? I don't want to pay this much. Anyways, I'm gonna keep complaining about prices because stuff that used to be cheap for me is no longer cheap. You gotta figure out something, you know? Back in my day, I've been trying to also stay away from like instant ramen because I know instant ramen is like cheap, but also it's not good for you. I'm trying to watch my sodium. You shouldn't eat Spam. Why not? I feel like if you're Filipino, you're obligated to eat Spam. I'm not even. I think if you're Asian, I think most Southeast Asian countries have Spam regularly on their breakfast menu. You normally pan fry Spam. I pan fry it, but if I'm really lazy, I just put it in the air fryer. I put it in the air fryer. Price increases always suck. I know. Even pasta is starting to get expensive. I remember pasta used to be less than $1. Now I'm paying like $2, $3 a box. Like, what the hell is this? I'm white and I love Spam. I didn't even know Asians have Spam. If you go to McDonald's in Hawaii, it's on their menu. If you go to the Philippines, you walk into a McDonald's during breakfast time, it's on their menu. I love Spam. It's good. I think people don't know how to prepare it. I think people think you eat it straight out of the can, which you almost never do. You're supposed to fry it. Like pan fry it. What's Spam? It's like luncheon meat. It's luncheon meat. It's like pork. Spam Sidon. I love Spam. There's so many different flavors of Spam now. There's like teriyaki flavor. I'm just like, where are we getting all these flavors? I went to the store. They had teriyaki. There's spicy Spam. Like bulldog. I don't even know if they have bulldog Spam. I feel like I've seen that before. Bacon Spam. There's like turkey Spam too. There are so many different flavors. I went to Costco with my mother not too long ago, and they had like limited edition Lilo and Stitch labeled Spam. It was because at the time the Lilo and Stitch live action movie was out, so they had like the limited edition labeled, and there was Stitch on the packaging. I'm like, what is this? What is happening? And then it makes sense because Spam is a Hawaiian staple. Yeah, there's a bunch of, there used to be like maybe 2 or 3 flavors of Spam, and now there's so many. Hold up. Flavors of Spam. Thank you. I love Google. They grinded Stitch. Yeah, they put Stitch in the Spam. Okay. Every Spam flavor. Thank you for the level 9 hive train. All right. So there's teriyaki Spam. Bacon. I've had the bacon one. It's good, but it's too salty. Tocino. That's Filipino Spam. That's a Filipino Spam. Hickory smoked Spam. Jalapeno Spam. Maple Spam. Spam light. I try to get the light because it's less fat, less sodium, and less calories. Oven roasted turkey Spam. Hot and spicy, which I do like. I like when stuff's really spicy. Classic Spam and less sodium Spam. I feel like there's more flavors. What is this? I need somebody to draw me hugging a thing of Spam. I love Spam so much. I think those are the main flavors. Ew! Cheese Spam? That sounds scary. chorizo spam, garlic spam, Portuguese sausage spam, black pepper spam. That sounds good. Black pepper spam. Teriyaki spam sounds good. It does. I think I've had it once or twice. I always just get the regular one. The regular, less sodium. Pumpkin spice? That's not real, is it? Okay, I like pumpkin spice like the next guy. All right, but I don't think it belongs in spam. Oh, okay, I'm on the official spam website. They have Korean barbecue spam, gochujang spam. Okay, the single spams are okay. I've seen these before. Oh, okay, those are the only ones that are available right now. Gochujang spam sounds good. I like gochujang. Write a review for spam. I'm good. What type of meat is spam? It's pork. It's pork. So I know some people can't eat it because some people can't eat pork. What did I miss out? We're just yapping. I said we were gonna not yap much, and then I feel like every time I say that, I just curse myself into yapping. Way too much. I mean, that's why I'm a VTuber. I just don't know when to shut the fuck up. Yeah, it's processed meat. I don't suggest eating a ton of spam, but, you know, it's nice. It's king, in my opinion. I need to try that. I don't know where to find that. They probably have it at, like, some special grocery store. Chat, this protein smoothie is so bad. I hate this. This is so nasty. Maybe if I half the protein powder, it'll taste better. But all I taste in this smoothie is the protein powder. And it's not good. Maybe I just will buy then stop drinking it, but I don't want to waste it. It's really good nutritiously. Like, there's fiber and protein in it. And I need to drink it. And I also don't want to waste it. I don't feel good about wasting food. Like, even if I make something and it doesn't taste good, I'll still eat it. Because I don't want to waste it. I don't know, the way I see things sometimes, I've tried to, like, see, like, food as fuel as opposed to, like, enjoyment, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I could still enjoy food, but I don't want to waste food. Wasting food makes me sad. What's on the protein smoothie? So I buy like frozen fruits because it's just easier. So there's blueberries, strawberries, and bananas. And then I put some regular lactate milk because I'm lactose and I can't have regular milk. 2 scoops of protein powder. Yeah, the serving size for the protein powder is 2 scoops. So, and then I put some chia seeds in there for extra fiber. Your voice is quite soothing to listen to, even when you're angry. You think so? I get annoyed with my own voice. Sometimes I can't even listen back to my VODs or clips. Like, obviously, I've gotten used to it, right? I have to send stuff over to editors, and, you know, editors will send stuff to me and be like, all right, Sai, you like the way this is edited? And I have to force myself to listen and watch the video. I feel like I've gotten a lot better. At listening to myself. But it makes me happy. I was like, oh, somebody doesn't hate my voice. Oh. Could blender in some kind of peanut butter or something that mixes well and covers the taste well. Ooh, peanut butter with fruits, though? I'll have to try that. I do like peanut butter. My mom mixed some zero sugar root beer and it tasted exactly like a root beer float. Ooh. I think it's just the protein powder itself. I've tried like maybe 5 to 6 different protein powders and I've only ever liked one. I really liked one. But it's an expensive one. It's expensive. And I'm like, ah! But I need my protein in the morning. Yeah, usually my typical diet involves, okay, so a protein smoothie in the morning, and then in the afternoon, if I'm like really hungry, I'll make like a sandwich. Or I'll just eat like cheese and crackers, because low-key that does like smack. It does smack. And then in the for dinner I usually have something heavy. Like tonight I'm doing salmon. I'm baking some salmon. I got salmon on sale at the store and I was so happy. I'm like, oh, it's on sale. I love salmon. Salmon is my favorite fish. I just picked it up. I'm gonna use it for my Ace and Uta decks. Yippee! Yippee! Yes, guys, if you get my Dawn for my merch, if you get a set of 10, you get 1 guaranteed foil signed, and it's super nice. It has my like signature, and it's like the texturing is different, and it's super cool. Let's try and eat. And I'm experimenting on a smoothie that is both tasty and healthy. Yep. That's kind of what I've been doing. I ate really well for a good portion of this year, and then the holidays came up, and I'm like, oh. Everybody was just having get-togethers, friendsgivings, potlucks. My locals had like 2 or 3 potlucks, and I'm just like, ah! Guys, please! Guys, please. Usually when I know I'm gonna be like eating out with friends later in the day, I don't eat anything in the mornings. But yeah, I was going to the gym at least like 2-3 times a week up until like a few months ago, and then life got busy, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna see if I have time to go tonight. I miss it. I miss feeling sore after the gym and dying. I don't know, is anybody like that feeling? I do. You know, I may be in so much pain, but I used to, for the first few months of 2025, I was doing pole. So like pole dancing, but it was like not like that pole dancing. It was more like a fitness pole dancing thing, and it was a lot of fun, but it got really expensive. Like I was paying like $80-90 a month for a membership just to do that, and I at the time couldn't. I was just like, oh, that's a lot of money. I don't know if I can pay that monthly. But I loved it. I was actually thinking about going back. I'm like, should I just pay the $80-90? Should I just do that? Should I just shill the money? Or not shill the money, just spend the money. Local shoe night, dude, I love it. Like my Pokemon locals is so fun because I feel like everybody at my Pokemon locals, we're all homies. We're all like friends. So sometimes there'll be like 1 or 2 people, they'll show up with like boxes of Costco pizza and be like, hey guys, we just wanted to treat everyone. I'm like, that's so nice of you. That's so nice. A year, a monthly. It's for monthly. It was like $90 a month. And I'm like, I love this place so much. I love doing pole, but that was a lot of money that I just didn't, that's a yikes to me. To be fair, it was like unlimited. Like I could literally go every single night to go and do like classes and routines and stuff. And it was really fitness heavy. Like, holy fuck. So I don't think I've been as sore as I've ever been like just doing pole. Holy fuck. I would come home and I'd wake up the next day and my entire body was just aching. Like, but it was like a good ache, you know? Yeah, the last 2 months of the year's food overlord. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people understand that. It's just like Thanksgiving and Christmas, or Halloween into Thanksgiving into Christmas is a deadly combo. Actually deadly. It's the worst. Like, yeah, let's go from sugar to a bunch of carbs to even more carbs. And you know what sucks? It's like, it sucks like when you're trying to eat better and then you show up to a party and you don't want to be that person who like isn't eating the food, you know? Because I've definitely gotten that where they're like, Sai, why aren't you eating? And I'm just like, oh, you know, I'm kind of watching what I eat. And they're like, it's the holidays. You should eat. And they like put food on your plate. Maybe that's a Filipino thing. I don't know. You know, it's funny. Filipinos, you'll go to your titas, your aunts, and they'll be like, wow, you gained weight. You should lose weight. And then they're like, wait, did you eat yet? Here, let me give you like 5 plates of food. And I'm just like, putang ina. How are you going to tell me that I look like I gained weight and that I should lose weight and then proceed to give me five plates of food? I feel like this is like a universal Filipino experience. Every single like person I know that's Filipino, I'm like, have you experienced this? And they're like, yep. Lurker here, I've decided to come out ever since I found out you're a fellow Filipino. Yeah, I'm Filipino. I'm Filipino American though. I spent a good few years of my life in the Philippines. I would spend like 9 months there, and I'd come home to the States for like 3 months. And then I eventually started living full time in the States. And yeah. So I'm not fluent. Like my parents can speak to me in Tagalog. Or my parents speak to me in Taglish. So like half Tagalog, half English, and then they'll understand. I'll understand and I'll respond in English. I was giving 5 plays. I probably would finish 1. Dude, it's like the worst. And here's the thing with Filipino food. It's like, out of all of the Asian food, I think Filipino has the most carbs and the most calories. So it's not even like nutritious food. Tastes delicious though. The cave into family pressure is pure blood Italian, so I feel you on that one. Oh my goodness. No, yeah, it's so real. It's like I love my family though. They're great. In Jewish one, you physically cannot go hungry, and that's real. Taglish. Yeah, it's half Tagalog, half English. So my parents speak to me in the Thai, as in more calories. I don't think so. I think Filipino food is actually technically more bad for you. You would have to watch someone make Filipino food and they put like copious amounts of oil in it. You're like, yep, that's Filipino food. That is Filipino food. Not bad though. Carbs are super good if you need to survive. And there's like a difference between like good carbs and bad carbs. I feel like, yeah, Filipinos is all rice and all deep fried. Copious amounts of oil and rice. It's good in moderation. I'm very much in a belief that like life is about balance. So like you can enjoy foods that you like in moderation. But here's the problem. Filipinos, they're like, eat more. Yeah, Italian cuisine like Filipino is extremely carb and oil heavy. That's real. Full on film. I've never lived, just visited every so often. I can't speak Tagalog, but I understand enough if you're talking shit about me. Dude, same. Dude, it's so funny because I have family members. Because I would visit. I last time I visited the Philippines was like 3-ish years ago. And they think that because I was raised in the States that I cannot understand anything they're saying. So they would say something about me and I'm like, what'd you say? I heard that. I know, I understand. What are the most known Filipino dishes? I think the most known Filipino dishes, definitely lumpia. I feel like all my non-Filipino friends who like Filipino food, they're like, Sai, can you make me lumpia? Because I make lumpia. I make lumpia every few months. I keep it in my freezer either to have as emergency food or I just give it to my friends because they like it. Jollibee has some Jollibee is a fast food place originated from the Philippines. So they have like Filipino spaghetti, which I know is a crime against Italians. I deeply apologize. I know I have a lot of Italian shipwrecks. Pancit's really popular. That's more of like a party food. Adobo is the national dish of the Philippines. Adobo. I think another popular one is sinigang. That one's a tamarind soup made with pork and or shrimp. Super good. Sisig's really good too. However, sisig, I think sisig's usually made with other parts of the pig. As in like the head, the feet, the intestines. Yeah, my father taught me how to eat those meats. So like whenever I go to like taco places, I get tripas or tripitas. Apparently it's like the intestines or like the stomach, and that's my favorite. That's what I get whenever I go to taco places. Never, and I mean ever, never ever say to your Italian relatives that you're even the slightest bit hungry. Dude, yeah, same. Don't tell that to your don't tell that to any Asian parents. Don't tell them you're hungry. They will make you so much food. The less desirable parts, yeah. It's good though. I like tacos. Are you gonna capture Stitch to eat him as spam? No. I like Stitch. He's kind of a cool dude. He's kind of a sick guy. Yeah, holy moly. I had to learn how to say no to like my Filipino. I even have like my Filipino friends, their parents consider me like their niece, even though we're technically not blood related. It's just a Filipino thing. You know, you randomly see a relative out and they're like, Sai, look, it's your Tita Joy. And I'm like, I don't know who this person is. I do not know who this person is. And they'll be like, oh, I remember you when you were like 1. I'm like, do you remember me? And I'm like, I don't. But you have to be like, yeah, I do. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Kaden, thank you for the follow. We should react, huh? I've been yapping too close to the sun. We've been yapping a little too close. I don't know if we'll get through all the videos today. We shall see. We will work on as many videos as I feel like we should get through. We're watching One Piece videos today, chat. I was actually shocked. I didn't know some of the One Piece react videos on my second channel were actually unironically doing pretty well. And I'm like, huh. Some people just really like One Piece. AKA me, I love One Piece. Can I be like this? Can I be small? I think I want to be small. You know what VTuber model I want? I want a Chikawa model. Like the little like animal dudes that go wah, wah. I want one of those. Please, I need one of those. I'm begging. Let me just. Okay, there we go. I'm just moving my shadow around. I think that's fine. Why do I have this? What is this? Wah! I can give myself a little outline. Oh, that's so fun. I don't know if I like that though. I'm gonna turn it off. We'll turn it off. I'll turn it off. Anyways, we are back with some One Piece reacting because I love One Piece. It is my favorite anime of all time. And I was recommended by actually one of my mods to watch this guy named Totally Not Mark. I don't think he's Mark, guys. I actually don't think he's Mark. There's something telling me that he's not Mark. I was told to watch his 100% blind One Piece reviews. So we're going to be starting from Romance Dawn to Baratie. So up until this stream / recording of this video, I am up. I'm almost done with Fishman Island. God, I started watching One Piece about a little bit over a year ago, about maybe a year and maybe 3 months ago. So I would like to think I'm still kind of new to the One Piece world. There's still so much I don't know, so much I haven't seen. And it's nice to also hear about I guess, the One Piece story from other perspectives, if that makes sense. So we'll be watching 100% Blind One Piece Review Part 1, Romance Dawn to Baratie. Oh my goodness. It's been so long since I heard all of those.
75% of people from even attempting it because it's so damn big. One Piece, the magnum opus
The best anime ever.
Eiichiro Oda. Since 1997, this man has been spending what I
Is this actually Oda? I could have sworn people... I thought nobody knew what Oda looked like.
can only assume is every waking hour of his life drawing this manga series because, as I'm writing this video, there are almost 1,000 chapters available to read. This man has
Oh my
dedicated his life to
Jesus
this story,
Christ.
and so in order for me to even stand a chance, I need to throw caution to the wind to bring a manga every single place I go, and I need to tell my girlfriend I love her because I won't be seeing her for the next 5 months. I know.
Oh my god. I knew somebody that finished One Piece in 2 months. Literally, they started the first episode, and I asked them, I said, were you watching One Piece? And were you watching fillers? They were like, no, I was not watching One Piece, and yes, I was watching every single filler. And I'm like, oh, how do you do that?
Know nothing about this series. I have never in my life watched a single episode or read a single chapter of the story. I am a simple Dragon Ball fan exploring for the very first time the most popular and girthy Shonen Jump manga of all time.
I need that. I don't even read manga, but I would love the entire One Piece collection of manga.
Popular than Naruto, more popular than Galgo 13, even more popular than Dragon Ball. This is my first
That is
impression
crazy.
of the greatest high seas adventure manga
I love that's my Poké Ace.
has to offer. Today I review Eiichiro Oda's modern epic, One Piece.
This opening goes so hard.
In this video, I will be reviewing the beginning of One Piece's story all the way to the end of the Baratie arc, which takes us about
Baratie is crazy, but you know what? I'll let this slide.
68 chapters into the manga. What can I say? The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step, and my adventure starts now. Oh, also, I'll be reading the manga, and for my editor's sanity, he'll be using corresponding footage from the anime. Enjoy.
Sick.
Romance Dawn, chapters 1 to 7. The series begins in what I believe to be a fantastic fashion. We are shown the last king of the pirates meeting his end, Gold Roger, with his last words acting as a challenge to the
Midnight
rest of mankind
Castle.
to find his legendary treasure, the fabled One Piece. Title.
Yes.
A new age
Yes!
of piracy kicks off, and that's when we are introduced to Luffy, our main character, as a
Our goat.
small child, literally stabbing his eye in the middle of a tavern full of pirates to earn their respect. Alright, so the promise of legendary pirate treasure, and now our main character.
Oh my god. You're so right, Chad. The nostalgia. The nostalgia is so real.
In the face to earn street cred. This story sure knows how to grab your attention and to set up a goal right off the bat. In this tavern, immediately after Luffy's introduction, we are introduced to a colorful cast of pirate characters
Shanks.
led by the
I let this man rail me.
endearing and fun Captain Red-Haired Shanks.
I would let this man do the most atrocious things to me.
Luffy and
Sorry, I really needed everybody to know that.
Shanks have known each other for a number of years at this point, indicated by the teasing Shanks does to Luffy and the rapport they
Master
both
Crow,
seem
thank
to
you for the
share
bunch for
each
the
other.
4
Luffy
months.
desperately wants to be a pirate, but concerned for his safety and considering he can't swim, Captain Shanks consistently refuses in a variety of different means. Suddenly, however, some thugs roll up to the bar and begin stirring up some trouble, leading to a bottle of alcohol Shanks had offered in good faith being smashed over his head. Shanks elects to do nothing about this, and the group of thugs leave the tavern angry. This all takes place as Luffy was eating right next to him at the bar. And unable to understand that Shanks chose not to fight for the sake of peace, Luffy becomes incredibly disillusioned at Shanks' actions. About
Real.
to walk off in a huff, they discover that the fruit Luffy had eaten
Uh-oh.
happened to be some of the treasure they had brought home.
I know Lucky Roo. I know his ass. I hated playing against Shanks, the Shanks deck, during OP09 because of that man.
A magical devil fruit that
Half of you probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but I just needed everybody to know that.
now gave him the ability to stretch his limbs. With one major drawback, he is now cursed to never be able to swim. Not exactly ideal. Some time passes and the next day, Luffy finds himself alone in the tavern once again. Shanks is leaving for good this time.
So
and
sad.
Luffy is not going to see him off. He still considers him a coward for not standing up for himself. But now's his chance to restore order to the universe because that bully rolls up to the bar once again. The scene switches to the tavern lady looking for help as Luffy receives a massive beating at the hands of this thug leader by the name of
fuck this guy. Luffy was just a kid too. Like, don't beat up kids, man.
Gume the bear.
I miss removal decks in OPTCG. I cannot say I agree with you, but I understand.
And despite Luffy's unwavering tenacity, he's being beaten to a pulp. Things are looking dire, but then...
My husband!
Held up to Shanks' head by one of the thugs. This leads
oh my god, this man has so much aura.
his crew immediately taking action, and the quick fashion with which Shanks takes care of these vile individuals is wonderfully cathartic. However, in the chaos, Higuma had made off with Luffy to the harbor in an attempt to drown him. Things are never as straightforward as this though, and as fast as you can blink, a sea monster erupts from the depths beneath, eating Higuma and the boat itself, launching Luffy into
That is karma.
the ocean, where he finds himself once again saved by Shanks, who in the process of saving him from this sea monster, loses his arm. Feeling terrible about it, Luffy asks, "What about your arm?" Shanks responds, "It's a small price to pay. It's just an arm."
Oh
I'm
my
glad you're right."
god.
Luffy vows to be king of the pirates, and Shanks gives him his hat. A hat that he says means a lot to him. He asks him to please return it to him someday when he's become a great pirate. And it's
I'd be
this
crying.
individual in Shanks and his token to remember him by that influences the rest of Luffy's life. He's going to be the king of the pirates one day. He will return Shanks' hat and he will make his life worth the brave sacrifice Shanks made for him in finding the legendary treasure no one has been able to find. Gold Roger's
One Piece.
What a character introduction and what an opening.
Actually, insane intro. Insane. Because now I love how you immediately, like, because of the way this all unfolded, you as like a viewer is like, fuck, I'm rooting for Luffy. He's gonna have to become king of the pirates to repay Shanks for saving his life. Like, holy fuck, it's so good.
For this story, I sincerely loved it. Following these events, there's a bit of a time skip where we catch up with Luffy 10 years later. He's grown up considerably and is far more comfortable now with his Rubberman powers. And just as determined as ever, he ventures into the ocean, completely unprepared considering he has no
He's
idea
on
how
his
to
small-ass
navigate,
boat.
He can't swim and he has no destination other than to find and recruit crew members for his ship, which, let I remind you, he doesn't have yet. Effectively, he has nothing and is starting with only his abilities and positive attitude. Things quickly, however, take a turn for the worst, as they do in One Piece, when we see Luffy sucked into a whirlpool before cutting to a young cabin boy called Kobe working under the lady pirate
Alvida.
He hates working for her, and in the middle of bringing a barrel that had washed up onto the beach back to base, Luffy explodes from it, and together Kobe helps Luffy navigate to where he needs to go, and Luffy helps liberate this young man from the servitude he despises.
Oh my
to help him
Jesus.
realize his dream of working for the Navy. Together, they overthrow the Lady Captain Alvida, commandeer a dinghy, and make headway for a nearby naval base wherein Luffy expresses interest, assuming he's a good guy, in recruiting a highly infamous and reputable pirate hunter.
That is my other husband. I would let Zoro do nasty things to me.
Goes by the name of Zoro.
Yes!
They arrive at the naval base and find Zoro held captive, tied to a stake, starving himself in a yard. The design of this character is...
Oh, he's so hot!
I think fantastic. At a glance, you can immediately tell what sort of character this guy is and the personality he possesses. And when thinking back over this series
He's my favorite himbo.
so far, Oda has put a ton of care into his designs for the characters. If someone is vain and nasty, he makes them incredibly ugly. If someone is scared and unassuming, he emphasizes that feature. And in the case of Zoro, this guy is confident and damn cool. Within moments of meeting this character, we are also
Oh my
introduced to
gosh. Fuck this guy. I know he's like fine now, but right now in this current timeline, fuck Helmeppo.
Captain's son, Helmeppo, an incredibly selfish, cowardly, and irredeemable character who provides us our window into the naval base's corrupt leadership situation. Under the
Which
rule of
male One Piece character is your favorite? Zoro.
the tyrannical Captain Morgan, who is nothing like his son. Through flashbacks,
He is my second favorite Straw Hat. My first being Nico Robin. hands down. Zoro's my second.
We learn what Zoro has been fighting and searching for. A promise he made to his one-time
Kuina.
childhood rivals to become the greatest swordsman in all the world before they died. Despite having an intimidating reputation across the area, the entire reason Zoro is tied up in the first place is for protecting a young girl from Captain Morgan's son's attack dogs. Luffy decides he likes the cut of Zoro's jib and asks him to be part of his pirate crew. However, he quickly declines, saying that he has plans of his own, going on to explain that Helmeppo said he only has to survive 1 month for his freedom. Luffy doesn't like this, but has to accept his decision before heading down to the village, where he learns from Helmeppo himself that Zoro will be executed very soon. Enraged by this news,
my
Luffy clobbers
jeez.
the obnoxious coward, leading to Helmeppo reporting
W
to his
Luffy.
father, the evil and imposing Captain Morgan. With this news, Luffy immediately runs and tries to free Zoro, but Zoro is reluctant to believe. Taking the initiative, Luffy then begins searching for Zoro's famous weapon, the sword. While he's searching, Kobe reveals to Zoro that the Navy have no intention of releasing him and that he's up for execution very soon. Kobe tries
Oh my god, thank god. W
to free him,
Kobe.
but
Try to free
too
him.
late. Morgan has arrived with his firing squad, who open fire on the two of them.
Fuck Captain Morgan.
Thankfully and surprisingly, falling from the sky comes Luffy, who, using his
My
amazing weapon
goat!
powers, blocks all of the bullets, and also returns the, count 'em, 3 swords belonging to Zoro. This guy fights with 3 swords. No big deal. Together, they team up to fight and overthrow the evil Captain Morgan, returning the Navy to its former
I want to see Zoro's 4th sword.
glory. Kobe stays behind to follow his dream of becoming a naval officer, and Zoro decides to join Luffy's crew in return for saving his life.
We're so
vowing
back.
to be the greatest swordsman to have ever lived, while also continuing his pursuit of a particular individual widely known as the greatest
I would also let Mihawk fuck the shit out of me.
swordsman in the world. Orange Town Art, chapter 8 to 24. This story picks up right after the events of the last one, as Zoro and Luffy float around starving because neither can navigate and neither have food, it seems. That is until they see a bird. Luffy jumps up to catch it, but soon realizes that this bird is much bigger than he first anticipated, and thus it carries him away until he reaches Orange Town, where he falls into the life of a pirate.
You know what I miss? Like, after time skip, I miss that it isn't... I mean, One Piece is still funny. But I feel like pre-time skip is so much funnier than post-time skip. I miss when stuff was silly like this.
Thief called Nami. In the middle of running away from some
My
pirates,
queen.
she swindled out of a very valuable item, a map to the Grand Line, a secret but very dangerous area of the world that presumably is filled with unspeakable riches and perhaps might even be the location of Gold Roger's legendary treasure, One Piece. While this is all happening, Zoro discovers 3 pirates marooned on a defunct boat floating in the middle of open ocean. They explain that this random girl pretended to be starving and desperate to lure them in, and when the moment presented itself, she stole their boat and treasure. Zoro decides to help them out and brings them back to their base on Orange Town. They explain that they are part of
Oh,
a
hell
notorious
yeah.
pirate crew led by the fabled pirate captain, Buggy the Clown. He is easily the best designed villain we have seen so far.
He is so cool.
I absolutely adore him. Anyways, after taking refuge from the pursuing pirates in an abandoned home on the island, Nami explains to Luffy that she specializes in robbing pirates and that this Buggy the Clown is not someone to take lightly. He's terrorized this town with monstrous cannons and destruction to the point it's almost being completely deserted, and legend has it, he also has mysterious powers. Apparently, the townspeople are after moving a distance away to avoid these pirate activities too. Nami explains that she hates pirates and that once she gets 100 million berries, which I assume is their currency, she will buy, quote, a certain village. And after learning of this and her ability to navigate effectively on the open
At this point, nobody knows why she's doing what she's doing.
water, Luffy is excited to ask her to be part of his pirate crew. She immediately declines, however, and reveals that she had no idea that Luffy was in fact a pirate. This exchange between the two characters of how they came to meet up is full of character and delivers exposition for the respective situations fine enough. But at this point in my read-through, I became very annoyed at a particular pattern I began to notice. Oda seems to have a particular writing quirk during this period of the story where he will naturally explain the goals, the plan, and the motivations of a particular circumstance, and that is all vital information for the reader or viewer to understand. And to be perfectly honest, he delivers it rather well. But he does this thing where he either has Luffy say he doesn't understand or wasn't listening, leading to that plan once again.
Oh boy, is this going to be a reoccurring understanding what the fuck is going on, this is not going to be a problem just here.
Being repeated in much simpler terms, anticipating that maybe a reader wasn't listening. It honestly didn't bother me the first time I saw it, but it's starting to become a trend, and I think it shows a lack of confidence in either his writing or the reader's ability to understand his writing. Honestly comes off as a little clunky to me. In addition to that,
that's a fair criticism.
This sort of panel structure. It's funny when it's used sparingly, but man, does he use this framing and gag a lot in the story early on. Within the first 10 chapters, he must have used it dozens and dozens of times. But anyways, back to the story. Seeing an opportunity to leverage Luffy's innocence for her own personal gain, she agrees to be Luffy's navigator on the condition he helps her with Buggy the Clown. She is, of course, lying. Luffy immediately agrees, but once they arrive, she ties him up with the rope she always seems to carry with her and offers him up to Buggy, explaining that he was her boss before expressing an interest in joining his crew instead. These are all, of course, lies to create an opportunity to nab his treasure.
She is a professional liar.
Honestly love Nami as a character. She feels very believable and utilizes all of her strengths to achieve what she wants.
She is such a smart girl. Like, even if she isn't like physically strong, like she can fight, but probably not to the extent that Zoro can fight or Luffy can fight. But man, is this girl clever. She has the brains.
As Luffy is thrown into a cage and Nami is left into Buggy the Clown's pirate crew. While all of that is happening, Zoro lands on the shore of Orangetown with the 3 pirates he saved, and together they lead him to Buggy's hideout. As things progress back at the hideout, however, it soon becomes obvious that Buggy is going to take Luffy's life.
Where's the dog? Where's the dog? Does anybody remember the dog? I remember the dog. I remember I cried. What's his name? It's like Oodle or something. Caboodle? I can't remember. Not me. I'm gonna Google this really quick. What is the dog's name in Orangetown? Choo Choo. There we go. Who else cried at Choo Choo? Because I did. I cried at Choo Choo.
Nami wanted, and when forced to make the decision to prove her loyalty by firing a cannon to wipe him off the face of the earth, she declines and begins fighting. This isn't at all what she thought would happen, and she's not going to become what she hates. Things admittedly are looking pretty bad, but that's when... Okay, that was awesome, but unfortunately Buggy's mysterious powers alluded to earlier came from consuming a similar devil fruit to what Luffy did. And so he has the ability to disassemble and reassemble himself. Due to this unexpected trait, Zoro lowers his guard long enough to sustain a serious injury. Outnumbered, trapped, and now gravely injured.
I feel like during his saga, poor Zoro has gone through it all. He was fucking stabbed. He got almost got by fucking Mihawk. Like, holy shit, how is this man not dead?
Luffy and Zoro quickly come up with a plan of escape. They point the cannon at the group of pirates, and when it fires, Zoro lifts the cage housing Luffy to safety. A righteous bravery and selfless rescue that really takes Nami by surprise. And what follows this was honestly incredibly unexpected, in a brilliant way. As Luffy and Zoro are trying to figure out their next move, after having escaped...
True, Kuma as well! Choo-choo the
dog barking at the front of a pet food store. The mayor of the town, one of the last residents still in the town, explains that now the dog's master is deceased, and that his last order was for his loyal pupper to protect the store while he was gone. To that...
Wait, where is it? What the fuck? Fucking. I remember this was the first time I cried watching One Piece. It was Choo Choo the fucking dog.
Little dog, that building is his treasure. What a beautiful metaphor and perfectly fitting for One Piece. I've only briefly touched on this particular story thread here, but the story behind it actually made me cry. I'm a sucker for a loyal dog story, and this was beautiful and tragic all at the same time. I've never in my life cried while reading before.
I'm trying not to tear up.
And One Piece certainly brought an end to that streak. The remainder of this arc is pretty much its third act. Buggy unleashes his subordinates to find and deal with Luffy and Zoro, the latter of whom has managed to find refuge with the mayor of the town. One of Buggy's lackeys happens to be a lion tamer to keep up with the circus theme, and despite the little dog's best efforts to protect the only thing left behind by his now deceased master, the tamer and his lion beat the living daylights out of the dog, leaving behind nothing but a burning building. I need Luffy to bring justice to the world now, and bring justice.
That's it. Kill him, Luffy.
To the world, he most certainly does. But unfortunately, the damage has already been done. All that's left is ash and a single box of food. Luffy sits next to the little dog and gives that to him. Nami realizes in that moment that Luffy had fought the lion specifically for that little dog. Throughout this arc, the through line has been the light in which Nami views Luffy. While he having nothing to prove to her specifically, by simply being who he is, Luffy demonstrates enough to dissuade or at the very least inject some doubt into her perceived notions about the young pirate. The remainder of the arc is full of more selfless sacrifice and rescue, mainly by Luffy, who protects the town's mayor with the help of Nami, and a beautiful callback to the fact that she always carries rope with her, ultimately leading to Buggy's defeat. Oh, and there's this scene where Luffy kicks the disembodied groin of Buggy to stop his other body parts in their tracks, which I honestly found a little more funny than I probably should have.
It's peak.
And to cap it all off, when the townspeople finally return to chase off
the pirates,
Luffy and Zoro are forced to flee. But the little dog, who was once aggressive towards these guys, now stands to valiantly protect them from the mob. What a beautifully crafted little story about personal treasure, prejudice, and trust. I love it.
God. Oh. Can we talk about time skip Nami? I love her design, but I do miss short hair Nami.
And on top of all of that, despite not fully committing to the crew, Luffy and Zoro now have a navigator in Nami who has agreed to travel to the Grand Line together, as it's both a worthwhile endeavor and mutually beneficial. Syrup Village Arc, chapters 24 to 41. The portion of the show that I've reviewed thus far has clearly been in a casual recruitment phase wherein Luffy assembles his ragtag group of personalities to accompany him on his adventures around
long hair Nami is Awuga.
The world. And this arc is no different. In the same way the last couple stories centered around the recruitment of Zoro and Nami, this one centers around the recruitment of a slingshot-wielding troublesome town liar named Usopp. And unfortunately, of the arcs I'm covering in this video, I enjoyed this one the least. But
I do too. Between all the recruitment arcs, I think Usopp's was the weakest for me, but it's still like fine.
That's not to say this wasn't good or that I didn't enjoy it. It's probably more to do with the fact it's sandwiched between the last arc, which I thought was great, and the next one, which is really good. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. This particular story continues as Nami, Zoro, and Luffy are sailing along the sea in their tiny boat. They all notice a distinct lack of provisions as well as the inadequate sailing vessel they possess, and so touching down on land, they endeavor to find a remedy to all of these issues. This is when we cut to the man of the hour, Usopp, who seems to enjoy pretending that pirates are attacking his town in what seems to be an attempt to rile up trouble in his neighborhood. If it's starting to sound like a variation on the Boy Who Cried Wolf story, that's because it is, but with a distinct pirate twist. You see, despite being a notorious liar, he also has a small group of children that act as his pirate crew, but upon seeing Luffy and the gang touch down on the beach, the children bail, leading to Usopp eventually inviting the gang for food. There he explains a bit about the town and the local affluent residence owned by a sickly young orphan named Kaya. And it turns out Usopp has a wonderful relationship with her, despite him not exactly being well liked by the village due to his lying. The wonderful stories he fabricates for the young mistress Kaya makes her very happy, much to the dismay of her butler Klahadore, it's a strange name, who at every turn tries to dissuade Kaya from interacting with the likes of Usopp. Coming to a head one day when Usopp, despite being told not to, travels to her window to regale her once again with fantastical stories of adventure and fun. While this is happening, Luffy decides that the best course of action would be to ask Kaya for a ship himself, because that's what grown-ups do. I guess if you don't ask.
Yeah, if she's rich, guys, I'm sure she can get us a ship, no problem.
You won't receive. However, by the time he arrives at the property, Klahadore is reprimanding and belittling Usopp for trespassing on her land, taking things too far by attacking Usopp's personal character and his father's legacy, leading to, some would say, a fair reaction of Usopp punching him in the face, storming off at the behest of Kaya, who got deeply upset at the violence. While this is all happening, a character called Django, who is heavily inspired by a certain pop star, let's see if you can guess who by this subtle clue, moonwalks down the road until he meets the 3 young boys from Usopp's crew, revealing that he's a sort of hypnotist. Meanwhile, Luffy catches up with Usopp, who has decided to run to a secluded spot overlooking the ocean. There, he tries to console Usopp by letting him know that he knew his father and considered him a great man. Things are going rather smoothly until
Usopp gets the worst Dad of the Year award.
Until they hear chatter from down below on the beach. It's Django, the hypnotist from earlier, and Klahadore, the butler. While eavesdropping from above, they overhear a sinister plot that involves taking all of Kaya's family fortune and ransacking the village. It turns out Klahadore's real name is Captain Kuro, a vicious and feared pirate thought to have been sentenced to death years ago.
I will be really honest, I forgot his ass existed. I actually forgot this man existed.
In reality, he has been playing the long con in an attempt to start a fresh reputation disconnected from the horrible things he's done so that he can do more unspeakable things.
Dragon, true. Dragon also gets worst Dad of the Year award. I don't know much about Dragon. I just know that Usopp's dad literally was just like, I'm gonna be a pirate, bye-bye.
The future. Apparently the plan is to hypnotize Kaya and to have her sign over her family's fortune and to sack the village. The plan is perfectly fine, but the way it's delivered felt pretty unnatural and sort of clunky to me. The questions from Django felt like they were for the benefit of the viewer and reader and something he should already have the answers to himself. In other words, he shouldn't need to ask about this. Also, the odds of them choosing the spot directly beneath where Usopp and Luffy were was a bit too coincidental for my taste. In addition to that super clear exposition we just received, we get Luffy saying that he can't hear what's being said, and Usopp proceeds to break down the entire plot for a second time, and we have to read it or listen to it again, which I still find pretty annoying. But regardless, once Luffy is caught up, he shouts down at them to not do the bad thing and then proceeds to faceplant, falling from the cliff to the ground below. Captain Kuro believes the boy to be dead and for Usopp to not have a chance at convincing anyone of anything. Despite this, Usopp tries to make haste by warning the village that pirates are coming in the morning, and they naturally don't believe him.
I wouldn't believe his ass either.
Instead of cooperating, he gets chased off and flees to Kaya's, where he tries to warn her. And
at least Dragon saved Luffy in Loguetown. True.
Safety. She refuses. Shock horror. Out of time and now out of options, Usopp is left to defend the village alone. That is until Luffy and the gang offer their services. And while the action supplied for this section doesn't have disembodied nutshots on clowns, it does have Captain Kuro, who has big old cat claws and is by far the most ruthless individual we've ever met.
Can I just say Captain Kuro in the live action was kind of
in the story so far.
I've been so down bad this video. I deeply apologize.
He takes himself very seriously, and I felt a different tension while reading his character. We get some good stuff from Nami and Zoro too, but I think my favorite aspect of this series so far is, while it has its obvious shortcomings to me, they are easily forgiven, and alongside them, Oda sprinkles moments that remind me that he knows exactly what he's doing when it comes to storytelling. For instance, during a section where Luffy is fighting Klahadore, or Captain Kuro, your choice, Usopp is being carried into the forest by Zoro chasing after the Michael Jackson-inspired pirate who is chasing after...
I do remember his ass being inspired by Michael Jackson.
They're the 3 young boys and the young girl Kaya. He sets it up such that we are waiting for Usopp and Zoro to arrive to save the day, and so while I am watching the kids struggle and set up counterattacks against Django, I am very much waiting for Zoro and Usopp to arrive. Oda knows this, and so when they do arrive, he sneaks in a counterattack by the little kids I wasn't expecting because I was too busy waiting for Zoro and Usopp. It's these subtle Chekhov gun moments that I am honestly most impressed by. It's a very basic swerve to help deliver a conclusion to a fight scene, but you'd be surprised how many don't use it as regularly as Oda does. The fights during this section of the story are also really well done. I very much enjoyed the colorful cast and crew members under Captain Kuro and the challenges that they provided Luffy and the gang. On top of that, I thought the fights were served pretty well by the setting of the battle. A shorefront and a narrow slipway surrounded by forest. It's a nice little setup. I don't think Captain Kuro was as fun as Captain Buggy was, but he offered something completely different and, as I pointed out earlier, was far more serious in and of itself, which was very valuable. In the end, Luffy overpowers and outmaneuvers the crazed Captain Kuro leading Usopp joining Luffy's crew. He promises to one day return to Kaya and to regale her with tons of true and fantastical stories. As a thanks for their valiant efforts, Kaya supplies them with their very own ship to sail across the sea, complete with provisions. We also get one last tidbit of information about Usopp's past, also regarding his mother and the origin behind why he cries pirate. And this is an aspect of this series I've been very
Yasopp deserves the worst father of the year award.
Impressed by. And that's its willingness and determination to make you care about these individual characters Luffy ultimately recruits into his misfit band of would-be pirates. Through their respective debut arcs, whether it be Luffy himself, Zoro, Nami, or Usopp, any and every character Oda adds to the group is thoroughly explored and understood by the reader or viewer first and foremost.
And that is peak. That is peak writing.
Before they join the ranks. So, in terms of character writing, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing so far, and I can't wait to see who's joining the crew next. The Baratie arc. Chapters 42.
That's such a good arc too. Holy shit.
Arc I'll be discussing today, and of the arcs I have read through, this was by far my favorite. But before I start,
and that's valid. It's a really good arc.
Insanely dense with stuff happening that I've had to omit certain parts and quickly go over others to make room for what I thought to be the most important aspects of this story. So let's jump in. While playing with the new cannon on this fancy new ship they've acquired, the crew end up discovering two individuals, Yosaku
it's a
and
rock.
Johnny, the former of which was suffering
I love both of them.
the effects of scurvy. This incident brings to the crew's attention that they require a cook aboard this ship.
They're just eating bread.
They eventually come across an ocean-faring restaurant called Baratie after they accidentally deflect a cannonball onto the premises, causing a lot of damage, leading to Luffy having to pay off the damages by means of working in their kitchens. Inside this restaurant, we get introduced to the various wacky and oftentimes aggressive cooking staff aboard the Baratie, as well as the head chef.
They're just passionate. Also, Zeph is my guy.
Zeph, a former pirate that has settled down as the owner of this restaurant, and a particularly interesting character named Sanji, another chef working at the restaurant who
has the saddest backstory out of all the Straw Hats. Nico Robin, hands down.
Capable fighter too, sporting what I believe to be a genius character design.
Listen, there's some really good backstories for the Straw Hats. I'm saying Straw Hats because I don't know. I was told there's gonna be even sadder backstories for other characters coming up, but they're not in the Straw Hats. But I will say, out of all of these Straw Hats, I think Nico Robbins is the saddest, and I don't even think it's close.
And personally, he has a dream of one day finding the all-blue sea. However, he
so
remains
good.
committed to the kitchen and the restaurant for reasons he refuses to share. And despite his abrasive relationships with the majority of the staff working there, insists on remaining in the Baratie. He's also a sucker for the ladies, so I hope that gag doesn't get old too
He's a gooner!
fast.
Yikes.
Once everyone settles down, someone bursts through the door of the main dining hall, announcing that the captive has escaped, followed by that man doing the fall down dance, and the captive
thank you for the follow.
demanding to be fed. This man's name is Geen, and he gets pulverized and reprimanded for these actions by the restaurant staff. However, not liking the thought of anyone going hungry, Sanji, in privacy, gives Geen food for free. Apparently, this is a trend with him, and naturally, Luffy wants him to join his crew as their cook, but he refuses. Saying that he has his own reasons to stay. During this conversation, Luffy explains that he has plans of traveling to the Grand Line, which piques Geen's interest, leading him to warn Luffy never to go there. After this generosity from Sanji, Geen ends up leaving but quickly returns, bursting through the door with the most feared man in all of
Don
East Blue
Krieg
on his shoulder, the head honcho of an armada consisting of 50 ships, the feared Don Krieg. However, now on the verge of death,
fuck that
his
guy.
fleet almost gone, and his flagship in tatters. He's here, but only after barely managing to return from a...
Yeah, I don't actually know the rest of Sanji's backstory, so maybe I shouldn't answer the... Oh, Nico Robbins is the saddest. But I think up to where I am right now, Nico Robbins is the saddest to me. But I think in Whole Cake I get Sanji's backstory.
7-day trip to the Grand Line during a massive storm.
I need him in the TCG. I played Don Krieg in my Perona deck a few times, but Perona is kind of butt right now. I'm waiting for EBO3.
And needs begging for food and pity, and eventually Sanji shows mercy and feeds him, much to the chagrin of the fellow cooks. After receiving this food and regaining his strength, Krieg immediately beats Sanji to the floor. There's nothing likable about that, and it's honestly a great villain introduction. But he's not done. Much like he was, his crew is in a shambles and in desperate need of food. He wants to feed them and essentially take over the Baratie restaurant ship. He also expresses and reveals that Chef Zeph was once an incredible pirate who managed to successfully navigate and survive on the Grand Line for a year. Unable to do that himself, Krieg wants that logbook of Zeph's trip to help him on his next trip on the Grand Line. This is great because all the people we've met on this journey up to this point have brought up the Grand Line in one form or another.
They're all scared. They're all scared. As a leader, I should have specified. Fair enough. Where is my Brooke and Frankie leader, by the way? Why are the Straw Hats not a leader in the TCG right now?
To go there with his map. Luffy got the map, and now we've met our very first person to have actually gone there and returned. And he barely made it out alive. This is a wonderful progression in villains that is measured in the goal we are working towards, the Grand Line. Excellent writing. Geen is honestly taken aback by all of this and apologizes profusely for bringing this upon everyone at the Baratie. But Zeph, the head chef, gives Krieg food for his crew, much once again to the chagrin of his various employees. He doesn't want them to go hungry either. Don Krieg then leaves to feed his crew, while the rest of the staff aboard the Baratie, consisting largely of fighters and ruffians, begin readying themselves for battle. However, just as soon as they hear Krieg's army of crewmen coming, a massive attack slices the flagship of Don Krieg in half. Completely taken aback by the thunderous sound, they run outside to find Yosaku and Johnny in the water as well as the destroyed ship of Krieg.
Johnny,
the two explain that
my
they are in
beloved.
the water not because of what just happened,
my
because
goats.
Nami threw them out and made off with their ship.
Yup. She literally said, I'm out of here. I am not staying for whatever the fuck is gonna happen.
Certain bounty lists in their possession. Naturally, everyone is shocked by this, and what's worse is that they have someone much, much more dangerous than Don Krieg to contend with right now.
Sorry, I have like 5.
Now, slowly approaching their ship is a shadowy figure that Zeph recognizes. Geen explains that while they were on the Grand Line, on the 7th day, Krieg's armada was destroyed by one man. And that if that massive storm hadn't come, their flagship would most definitely have fallen too. Apparently an individual that goes by the moniker Hawkeye is responsible for Krieg's current state of affairs. And it just so happens that this is the same someone Zoro has been looking for for many, many years. First of all, I want to say I friggin'
both Mihawk and Zoro at the same time.
Love Hawkeye's design here. Just had to get that out. And his introduction is honestly spectacular. It's explained that he's been chasing down Krieg's crew for pretty much fun. They quickly try to shoot him, but Zoro pops up from the crowd and says that bullets won't work, that he'll simply deflect them. He also announces that he's been looking for him, that he wants to be the best, and that if he wants some fun, Hawkeye can fight him. Pointing his sword directly towards the greatest swordsman in the world.
GG, bro.
In response to this, asks where he gets his courage to point this sword. Does it come from confidence or ignorance? Zoro succinctly replies, it comes from ambition and a promise I made to a friend.
True.
Incredible line. We then switch scenes and get a glimpse of Nami sailing away crying. Hoping that they'll meet again, she laments, I can't wait to be free. There are so many moving parts to this
story. And at this point, you don't know why. You don't know why. You don't know why. Like, you could tell she feels guilt, but she has a goal, and you don't know what that goal is. And you're just like, why is she doing this? What the fuck is going on?
I have no idea what's going on. I honestly love it. I don't know what to expect. Accepting his challenge, Hawkeye whips out a tiny knife, saying, I'm not the kind of fool who hunts rabbits with a cannon. Upon reading that line, my mouth fell open and I had to run around
Real. Our jaws were all on the floor.
The house showing people that line. It might very well be the most Chad thing I've ever read in my life. He explains that the Red Line and Grand Line split the seas into 4. The East, the South, the North, and the West Blue. Going on to say that East Blue, their area, is the tamest of the 4 seas. And that tiny knife is the smallest blade he has. Speaking directly at Zoro, he says, it's time you learned how big the world is. They begin to fight, but Zoro is easily outclassed.
Such a good fight. Even though Zoro got his ass whooped real quick, it went to humble him, and it went to show that maybe things are not going to be as easy as everybody's making it sound like it is, all right? The Grand Line is no fucking joke, and the people on the Grand Line are no joke either.
He thinks back to the promise he made to that friend when he was a kid to be the greatest swordsman. Hawkeye stabs him in the chest. Zoro still refuses to retreat to safety, because to retreat means defeat, and he'd rather die than to accept that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did not like Nami at this point. They were like, fuck that biatch. She left their ass even though they treated her with such kindness. Why didn't she leave them? But then you go to the next arc and you're like, oh. Well, I get it now.
Earns Hawkeye's respect, leading him to bring out his best weapon, a large black sword. Zoro tries again to defend himself, but his swords shatter. Now, completely unarmed, he stands facing the greatest swordsman alive, leaving himself now completely open, as a wound to the back is a disgrace to a great swordsman. Hawkeye recognizes his efforts, slashing him to the floor. However, impressed by his honor and bravery, Hawkeye allows Zoro to live. He wants him to travel far and wide to hone his skills and to try to defeat him once again. He thanks
my goat.
Luffy for allowing his crewmate to
I'm a little mad that he beat my Pookie up, but he left his ass alive.
fight his fight without getting involved.
Because I'm sure Mihawk would have had no problem killing Zoro. But the fact he's like, you know what? I like you. I like your ambition. How about I leave you alive and one day we should fight again and I want you to try to defeat me.
What his dream is. Luffy responds to be the Pirate King. Hawkeye says that's even more perilous than trying to surpass me. Zoro lifts his sword to the air and vows to never lose again. Luffy is honestly happy to see him move and to see that hunger swell within him.
My goat.
I love Hawkeye as a character. His design is exceptional and honestly perfect for the setting, and the ship he sails directly reflects his philosophy. He's not brash or a show-off. He's just phenomenal and recognizes true ambition and dedication in others. And with that, we've finally gotten our first taste of what lies beyond the safety of the East Blue Sea. After this altercation, Johnny, Usopp, Yosuke, and a beaten-up Zoro decide to follow after the trail of Nami's commandeered ship. Luffy, on the other hand, has elected to stay, and thus will have to find them after he finishes dealing with business here. Once again, after a series of creative and unusual character introductions and fights involving Don Krieg, his pirate crew, and a new character called Invincible Pearl who also works under Don Krieg, Luffy and Sanji finally start to gain the upper hand when...
Oh my god!
Completely off guard with Gin taking action like this, demonstrating to me that he knows exactly what he's doing as a mangaka when it comes to creating surprise and tension in a scene. Gin's been seen largely as a voice of reason amidst the ranks of Don Krieg, and so we, or at the very least I, put him to the back of my head as someone who's not really a threat, but he is still a pirate working for Krieg, so this makes complete sense for him to get involved here in this situation. I'm honestly loving this. He demands Sanji to leave the ship, but he refuses. Invincible Pearl gathers himself again and attacks Sanji, who is now extremely beaten, still refuses to leave. Saying that he's taken everything from that old man, referring to the owner, Zeph. He's taken his strength and his dreams, swearing that he won't let anything else be lost. Hearing this, Krieg's forces once again blindside Sanji.
I fucking hated that Pearl dude. That Pearl dude can go fuck himself.
Massive attack on the young man. We are then greeted by a flashback from Sanji's past, taking us 9 years prior to the events of today, as Sanji is a young cook's apprentice on a ship. He's discussing his dream of finding the All Blue Sea, a legendary place that might not exist, and is said to have the best fish to cook. Suddenly, their ship gets pillaged by Captain Zeph's crew on the return from the Grand Line. However, things suddenly take a turn for the worst as Sanji is dragged overboard as the storm outside rages on. Without hesitation, Zeph jumps overboard to save him. He never had any intention of taking anyone's life, just to steal some food and valuables. The storm begins to worsen and we cut to a small island that the two have washed up on. Zeph suspects his ship was destroyed, so they should both go to either side of the island to keep an eye out for passing vessels. He places a small sack of food in front of Sanji, explaining that this is his bag of food and that this larger bag is his because he's bigger and therefore needs it. But despite having this bag, we later see Zeph in isolation on the other side of the island, taking action into his own hands, beating his own foot with a rock. Sanji, still deeply spiteful of Zeph, but now on his own side, reckons with proper rationing the supply can last 20 days. Unfortunately, days 25, 30, 50, and 70 pass by with only one opportunity presenting itself during impossible weather conditions. At this stage, about to starve, Sanji decides to go to the other side to see if Zeph's situation is any better. He took more food after all, and he sees the bag hasn't changed size. Once Sanji cuts the bag though, it's revealed that it's full of treasure and no food. Sanji then approaches Zeph to find that he's nothing but skin and bone. Missing the lower half of his leg, he cut it off to survive just that little bit longer.
He gave all the food to Sanji.
Sanji. Zeph remarks that he liked Sanji because he had the same dream he had, to find the All Blue. On day 85, the two were rescued. Zeph saved Sanji's life. After this, the flashback ends and Sanji stands up and declares that he will defend him with his life and repay his debt. The final fight that takes place utilizes all the strengths and weaknesses of both the villains and the heroes, feeding into dramatic character choices, demonstrations, failings, and successes. To say that this is the biggest and most climactic fight attempted by One Piece so far would be an understatement, and if the runtime of this video is any indication, my ability to break down the nuance and style this particular arc graces us with is clearly lacking. And that's not even to mention the choreography, angles, and framing that this final section of the story implements. If I were to fully break down everything that this arc had to offer, this video would probably be about 2 hours long and I wouldn't be able to release a follow-up for a month. So with that in mind, let's try to wrap things up. With tenacity, grit, and style,
Baratie, thank you for the 22 months. Thank you, thank you.
Carried off by Gin, who thanks both Luffy and Sanji for having saved and spared his life. The following day after the events, Luffy wakes up and both he and Sanji make their way to the dining hall to have some grub. The soup, prepared by Sanji, has everyone in the building gagging, throwing it on the floor, and berating Sanji for having made it. Sanji naturally gets extremely angry at everyone for treating him like this. He confronts Chef Zeph about it too, leading to the chef punching him in the face. "You'll never be able to cook like me. I've cooked on all the oceans of the world," he says. Sanji then storms off, and that's when everyone explains that they've done all this to try and convince Sanji to leave with Luffy.
What? Dark Galaxy, thank you for the membership. Thank you.
Luffy says that he won't take Sanji with him, that he needs to make that decision on his own. Listening to all of this, seemingly at random, Sanji gets hit by a shark from the sky, crashing into the room where Luffy and the others are. In the mouth of this shark is Yosuke, who was last seen in the boat with Usopp, Zoro, and his brother Johnny, explaining that if his calculations are correct, he can take Luffy to where Nami was heading. They decide to go, but before they do, Sanji says that he wants to join them on their adventure and follow his dreams. Luffy rejoices and begins making his way out. But before following the others, Sanji addresses...
I like to pretend the 4 kids dub didn't exist, by the way, chat.
Everyone, and lets them know that he's aware that they all pretended not to like his soup. As he gets ready, Sanji reflects on his life up until now, how they opened the shop together, how they came to employ all these colorful characters, and all the time he stood up for Zeph. As Sanji makes his way down the deck towards the small boat where Luffy is waiting, everyone is there to watch him leave. The 2 main chefs try to attack him, but they had no chance. No one else makes a single sound. No goodbyes or anything. Luffy asks if he wants to say goodbye, but Sanji says
Aradakun, no. Thank you so much for the 18 months membership. I appreciate you. Thank you.
A beautifully subtle callback to how he saved him when he fell overboard as a child. Hearing this, Sanji breaks down crying.
Oh, this is such a good scene.
And that he will miss them all. The rest is
such a good scene.
It's a beautiful way to cap off this arc and this video. The level of attention to detail and commitment to fun Oda is having with this story borders on pathological levels of dedication. For instance, I didn't even mention yet, or notice for that matter up until chapter 39, that the pieces of cover art that he does for each individual chapter actually tells their own mini-story. The story being Buggy the Clown's escapades.
I haven't read the manga because I don't read manga like at all, so I wouldn't know.
Meeting Luffy for the first time. It's hilarious and I literally almost missed it. I think what I might love most about Eiichiro Oda can be best summed up by this piece of information my editor shared with me about him. From a very early age, he had a comprehensive grasp of this story, including designs for characters, islands, cultures, and political factions. And perhaps my
5 elders, I know them. There were a lot of those at my One Piece TCG locals last night.
Of him and this story is that from the moment he started, he's known exactly how he's going to finish it. And now over 20 years into the future, he still has yet to end this mammoth of a journey. I can't wait to continue along on this spectacular adventure, but something tells me I haven't seen anything yet, and that my adventure is only just beginning. I've been told.
Heck yeah.
Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next week.
honestly feel I know I've only started watching One Piece like a year and a half ago, but my god, did that like feel like such a throwback? That felt like such a throwback. I haven't revisited. I think the only arc that I actually sat down and revisited was Sabaody. But I haven't rewatched any of the other arcs. I actually rewatched some of the other arcs. Only one season, by the way. Yeah, dude, can you believe One Piece season 1 just barely ended? Can you believe that? Also, hold up. Ah! The gardeners outside. They're cleaning. I don't want their lawn mowers to get in the video. 1 second. Okay. We're chilling. With such peak storytelling, it only gets better from here. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't read manga, so I haven't seen any of the cover stories, because I know there's a bunch of people that are like, oh my god, Poseidon, you should read the manga. And I'm like, I don't read manga. That's why I watch anime. Okay, I like reading. Don't get me wrong. I like read novels on my free time, but I just don't read manga. It's just not my cup of tea. Yeah, I'm still on Fishman Island. I'm like 7 episodes away. I just been Fishman Island. If you guys don't know, I'm on this podcast called The One Piece Virgin with Briggs and Jordan, and we have like other people come on every now and then. But as much as I love the lore in Fishman Island, but the rest of it is buns. Like, I think it might actually be my least favorite arc, which is so sad because I actually really like the characters and the lore behind it, but it's been my least favorite arc. I've not been having fun with Fishman Island. I am aware. Yeah, it sucks. I'm not having a fun time. So I've been watching other shows. I've been watching other shows in the meantime. I'm just like, I'll throw on like maybe an episode or 2 a night while I'm eating dinner or something, and then I'll watch something else. But yeah. Already New World, yep. I'm just like I mentioned earlier, I'm just so mad that I just came out of like what is considered peak One Piece, only to be met with such just buns. Like, it's just straight butt. I'm so mad. I'm excited for Punk Hazard though, because I know because I play the card game, that's the arc where people switch bodies, and I think that'll be a fun one. So, because I think, like, what the thing is, I don't mind pacing, like, as long as it's, like, entertaining, you know? I feel like there's been parts, and definitely in Marineford, where I felt like the pacing was quite slow, but for me, it was, like, still fun and enjoyable to watch. Like, pacing for me isn't necessarily an issue, unless it's, like, boring, which I felt that Fishman Island was. Because, like, why are you gonna give me a whole episode where it's just Hody Jones yapping about how much he hates humans? Like, we already know this. Like, why do you have to tell me this 2 million times? Like, I don't need to keep knowing this. Yeah. It was just so boring, and I don't know. I just, like, found it not enjoyable. I have still 7 episodes left. I got to where Hody got defeated, and I was just like, thank fucking God. Holy shit. Oh, and then it's the rest of its lore, and then I'll go into the next arc. But yeah, I'm definitely slowing down a little bit on my, excuse me, my One Piece watching. Yeah, at least I know from my understanding, Dressrosa's long, but it's fun. So that's why I'm not too concerned about Dressrosa or Wano, because at least it's like fun. Fishman Island was not fun. So, yeah. It's great. Its themes are bad, or themes are great. It's great at its themes, but bad at its execution. Exactly. Yeah, I was just tired of him taking pills the whole time. Holy moly. It's just, the entire time I was like, dude, I need this guy to shut the fuck up. I need him to stop talking. Just shut up. Shut up. Shut up. I don't need to keep hearing this. I'm so sick of this guy. All right, let me take a sip of my really nasty protein shake and we'll get into the next video. Oh, this is so hard to get down. I'm like halfway done with this now, but it's actually so nasty, this shake. Anita, I'm like really, I wish I could return the shake. Maybe I can give this protein powder to a friend. Maybe someone else one of my friends will like this protein powder, but this protein powder is not in. I'm literally about to go on Amazon right now and just buy the $60 protein powder I like. Anyways. Oh, Lord, why is this all scrolled down? We're back! With another One Piece, totally not Mark video. Yippee. I actually should subscribe to this guy. I can't believe I wasn't subbed. My bad. We're back! We're gonna go into the Arlong Park, into Loguetown. Oh, Lord, Arlong Park is an entire arc. And honestly, I think it's still, like, for me, one of my favorite pre-time skip arcs. I think Arlong Park is so good. So I'm excited to hear what Totally Not Mark has to say. So anyways, we're going to be watching 100% Blind One Piece Review Part 2, Arlong Park into Loguetown.
Alright, so I just got done reading the material for this week's video.
It's peak!
Why did no one tell me that this story was like the best thing ever?
Yes!
On a number of occasions.
Everyone told you.
I paused either to cry or to cheer, and after every subsequent cheer, I was reminded that I was sitting alone in a dark room. Our grandparents fought in the Second World War, and now I am reading One Piece. Every generation has its big challenges, and this is mine, I guess. I've still got over 900 chapters to read, and as I've said, since last week, I've been reading through chapters 69 to chapter 100. Oh, and to ensure I remain spoiler-free, Anime AJ, everyone's favorite mouse-wielding good boy, has been, on my behalf, reading your comments and sending them to me.
Aww.
This episode marks my second step into my One Piece journey, and as many of you fans of the series already know, this week we're in for a treat. I'm Totally
hell
Not
yeah.
Mark, and this is my review of One Piece's Arlong Park and Loguetown.
So good. I think out of like the earlier arcs, like going into Arlong Park, I think Arlong Park's my favorite between the main set of Straw Hats we meet before the Grand Line. Yeah, I think pre-Grand Line Arlong Park's my favorite.
The way first, this arc is to an absurd degree superbly written. And I say that not because Oda has done anything revolutionary in isolation, but because he's executed so many small isolated scenes and exchanges leading up to this arc. It's made
fuck that guy.
Executing this part of the story look effortless in terms of writing. What would Luffy do in this situation? We don't need to have that explained or justified to us because we've already seen Luffy develop across this adventure for the last 68 chapters. We know him. What would Zoro do in this situation? It's obvious because we too know this character in and out. I touched on this in the prior video, but it's worth repeating because I think it's the key to why this arc worked as smoothly and supremely as it did. Every character that's part of Luffy's crew right now is completely understood by the audience without reading a single word of the Arlong Park arc. Try saying that 10 times
Except Nami.
This is the best arc of One Piece I've read so far. Without question. Arlong Park deals largely with the character of Nami, who, if you paid attention to the last review video, was the only character of the main five not to receive a somewhat clear backstory. Sanji was a cook's apprentice that met a nice pirate guy, got hungry, and turned into an emo chef with a hankering for kicking. Zoro was always the second best swordsman as a kid in his village, and vowed on his rival's grave to become the best swordsman in the land. Luffy was a headstrong kid that learned a valuable life lesson about sacrifice thanks to a friend. Too bad that happened after he stabbed his face. And Usopp learned how to be a more honest person, both to others and himself. And while Nami's story in Orangetown with Buggy did have something of a resolution, it was intentionally left open by Oda for the specific purpose of exploring it right here. And it's amazing. This particular section of the story...
Yeah, because I remember at this point, I was like, what the hell, Yonte? What is going on? And then after Arlong Park, like, I love Nami. Nami is my girl, and she is still my girly pop.
Called Arlong Park picks up right after the events of the last one and follows a fleeing Nami as she returns home after attempting to leave everyone behind. And the story that's told here is nothing short of spectacular. For those of you that are familiar with my reviews, you'll know that I'm rarely this nice, so why does this arc work as well as it does for me? In a word, it's focused. The entire plot of this arc centers around Nami, her journey back to her island home, the tragic backstory she has, and the resolution that follows. At no point does the plot deviate to something that isn't pertinent to the story in one form or another, and every piece of dialogue, in typical Oda fashion, either informs or furthers the story, be it through carefully crafted exposition or world building. Whether it be through Nami's initial unveiling as being an actual pirate officer working under Arlong, I did not see
Oh god, that reveal is crazy.
About the Grand Line's 7 warlords and the baggage that comes with that. It gets me pumped to see what's coming next because I know I likely won't expect it, which is a super nice thing to experience when reading a shonen manga, especially when you consider this one was written in the 90s. When Nami herself arrives on the island, it's revealed that a set of communities live there also, and particular care is taken when explaining where these places are in relation to one another. The main stronghold of the island and home to the villain of this arc, Arlong, is called Arlong Park. It's a repurposed one-time naval base now leveraged by Arlong to bribe the governing bodies of the East Blue to remain an official presence in that region. This isn't necessarily dealt with in detail.
Fuck this guy, by the way. I don't even remember. It was like Nezumi or something. This mouse navy guy, fuck him. I hope he's dead.
The arc, but this is our first hint of politics in the story, and there's more to see here, I'm sure. Immediately next to Arlong Park is Cocoa Village. This is where Nami grew up, in a small house surrounded by a tangerine grove, on the outskirts of the larger Cocoa Village town. This is cute because I love that the very first time Luffy sits down to talk with Nami back in Orange Town, she says that she likes 2 things: money and tangerines. I remembered that fact, and when I saw the woman living in that home, I knew that she had to be connected in some way to Nami, given that she is surrounded by tangerines. It's simple, but little things like that, acting as clues for the future, are a nice touch, I think. In the Cocoa
peak writing
Village town, there's
Thank you, Oda.
community there, as we learn that Arlong enforces a protection tax on the locals, similar to how the Mafia and other gangs across the world imposed their will on their communities. In a nutshell, if they don't pay, bad stuff happens. And that bad stuff is not told to us, but shown to us in the ruins of their neighboring town and furthest village from Arlong Park, Gosa. With Arlong Park, Gosa, and Cocoa Village, we quickly get a firm grasp and understanding of the dynamic and power structure at play in this story. And through the ending of the last arc, with Nami looking at the bounty picture of Arlong, we're led to believe that she's going to claim that bounty for herself and make off with the money. However, we quickly realize that not to be the case when it's revealed that she's an officer working under Arlong, which, as I alluded to earlier, took me completely
is a pirate.
It acted as a really nice little subversion. It's here we are introduced to Arlong, the character with which the park he resides in is named after and the namesake of the arc itself. He's immediately built up as this monstrous threat and the most intimidating villain our heroes have dealt with.
I hate his ass.
Yes, he's responsible for the destruction of Gosa Village and is extremely elitist with regards to his race of people, considering himself and his army of fishmen several rungs above that of humanity, with their abilities to breathe both on and off land, as well as an increased level of strength that far outmatches our own. He considers humanity a lesser being that naturally needs to serve him. Hearing this, I was very interested to see what this character and his subordinates had to offer.
Oh boy. You know, it's crazy because like now I've watched Fishman Island, or most of it. I watched most of it. So you kind of get even more backstory for Arlong, and it's like now I'm revisiting this like arc via this video, and I'm like, damn. Yeah. That's fair. Like, I don't hate Arlong, I pity him. Yeah, the world that he had to live through and to see how his peers and other people he cared about get hurt the way they did does make me understand why he is the way he is. Arlong was a piece of shit, which makes him a great villain. Yup.
For the rest of the cast.
I am very much like, I have this thing, like, I don't think villains are born, they are made. And I think Arlong is just, it fits that saying so well. Like, he fits it.
And in addition to that, the dialogue...
He wasn't born evil. He was literally, like, with the way fishmen were treated by humans and the way they were like just horribly just treated. I get it. I get it.
The dialogue that Arlong himself spouts is filled to the brim with everything from quiet confidence to explosive anger. He's most definitely an interesting character that I was eager to explore and hear from more. And all that information we do eventually get to explore is provided through the lens of Nami's story and life, which I thought was an inspired choice. The real meat and potatoes with this arc comes in the form of Nami, as I alluded to earlier, with the most eye-opening segment for us being that of her origin story, how she came to be in Cocoa Village and her expressed motivations that have driven her to work for this despicable sea scum known as Arlong. Through flashback, Oda uses this as yet another opportunity to reinforce the characters and area of Cocoa Village that have already been introduced to us, those being Genzo and, more importantly, Nojiko, Nami's stepsister, but also to widen the scope of the world just that little bit more using the character of Bellemare, an ex-military soldier who on returning to the island did so on the verge of death, carrying in her arms a baby Nami and a 3-year-old Nojiko. The flashback details the circumstances surrounding Nami, Nojiko, and her adoptive foster mother, Bellemare, during which a somewhat large conflict emerges between Bellemare and the young Nami before she eventually storms off, shouting that she's sick of being poor and that Bellemare isn't her real family or mother.
Man, that fucking hurt. That fucking hurt.
When she reaches the center of the town, she encounters Genzo, who in a number of words explains to her how much Bellemare loves her and her stepsister. The emotions Nami is feeling here are obviously just a combination of frustration and childhood naivety, but eventually this choice manifests itself into one of the biggest mistakes of her life. As Nojiko goes to bring Nami back home, Arlong arrives to collect the protection tax, 50,000 berries for a child and 100,000 berries for an adult. Knowing full well that Bellemare doesn't have even remotely enough to pay for both herself and the kids,
Oh my
instead of
god.
pretending she doesn't have children, outs herself as their mother, their real family, and
Oh my god.
pays to protect them, leading to her unfortunate death at the hands of Arlong. It's a tragic scene, and in discovering that
This is
Nami
so
has talent for
painful.
mapping lands and ocean charts, which had been revealed earlier in the flashback,
So
Arlong elects to keep
painful.
Nami by his side. And from that very young age, Nami decided to lean completely into this role Arlong has provided for her on the condition that if she can come up with 100 million berries, she can buy her village's freedom. This choice, of course, forces her to turn her back on everyone to pretend that Bellemare
And she let all of them hate her. She let all of them hate her. And she, to free them, she literally was okay with that. She's like, I'm okay. I want to buy everybody's freedom back.
To her, all in a humble effort to try and control the situation and work towards a solution for her community. And from the very beginning of this arc, from the moment she arrives at Arlong Park, she resumes her work alongside Arlong and his forces, exuding the demeanor of everything is under control. But things are most definitely
not under control.
At times, genius efforts to preserve the status quo she has operated under for the best part of a decade. The interruption to the status quo, of course, takes the form of
Jesus
Luffy,
Christ.
Zoro, Usopp, Sanji, as well as the 2 bounty hunters along for the ride,
I miss them. I miss these two goofy goobers.
and Johnny. And this is by far and away my favorite aspect of this tale, the conflict that emerges between Nami and the Straw Hat crew after they arrive to rescue and help her.
Oh, here we go.
We know that Luffy is traveling a little behind everyone, we know that Nami arrived on the island first, and we know that the rest are in a ship right behind Nami. However, through hijinks and bad luck, the group consisting of Johnny, Zoro, and Usopp gets split up, leading to Usopp, Zoro, and Luffy all being separated towards the beginning,
Of course this happens.
Nami acting under Arlong, which ends up being intensely interesting. Zoro is first up as he's thrown in front of Arlong and eventually Nami. The dialogue between the two is tense but fascinating, with my favorite part coming from Zoro testing Nami's claim that she was always lying to them and that she never really cared about them by throwing himself into the waterfront to drown.
My
This actually
goat!
forces Nami to come to his rescue, proving to him that she really isn't as bad as she said that she is, laying the groundwork for a perfect little bit of dialogue between the two, Nami saying, "If you mess with me again, you're dead. But what's with all these bandages?" Zoro then cheekily remarks, "I ran out of clean laundry." which is a wonderfully character-appropriate but subtle callback to an exchange you two shared arcs ago. I love that. Later in the story, Usopp is also placed in front of Arlong and herself in a similar circumstance. Although this time Usopp has been apprehended after trying to protect
of course
from danger in Cocoa Village. In this scene, things become even more heated as not only is Usopp not as emotionally intelligent as Zoro and therefore can't see Nami as anything other than a traitor, but the army of fishmen beneath Arlong now don't fully trust Nami due to her out-of-character rescue of Zoro chapters prior. And so, to prove her loyalty, she seemingly attacks and stabs Usopp, drawing blood before throwing him into the waterfront to drown and bleed out. When I saw this, my jaw
oh
hit
my
the
god.
floor.
Same. I was like, what the freak?
I full-on believe that she actually did this, but in actuality, it's later revealed that she stabbed her own hand in an attempt to get her reputation back and to protect Usopp from danger. This reveal then was made
She
all the better
hurt herself to save them. She cares.
by the fact that the manga gave me tons of opportunities to notice her bloody and gloved hand before it's eventually revealed what had actually happened. Now that is some great stuff, but by far and away the best character interaction in this entire arc comes right after this.
Peak scene.
And it is... I actually don't even have words. I've mentioned this a number of times throughout this review so far, but the entire story surrounding this arc has been through the lens of Nami and how she herself is doing everything in her power to control the situation so that no one else needs to die. She's terrified of Arlong, but she's smart enough to find a way around it. And throughout this arc, when faced with situations by Zoro and Usopp, she has found genius ways of navigating this, and you can only imagine what else she must have done throughout the last 8 years. She's dedicated her life
She has
to Arlong.
survived.
Over the course of this regrettable career she's had, has amassed almost the full agreed amount of money to buy her village and her own freedom from him. However, she makes a fatal mistake when she lets Arlong know that she almost has the full amount and should have the remainder very soon. In hearing this, he sends a corrupt naval crew to reprimand Nami, and in doing so, takes every last bit of her savings. As she goes back to confront Arlong about this, Luffy is having his own issues. After finally arriving and reconvening with his group, he is confronted with accusations of Nami's betrayal and utter dislike of their group. Luffy definitively never believes a single word of this, and even when asked straight up to leave by Nami herself, he elects to fall asleep. He isn't leaving. Things continue to unfold, and Arlong exposes that he has no intention of ever allowing Nami to go free, and that's when the reality of the situation crushes him.
Oh my god, I'm in so much pain. Oh my god. Are you gonna battle viewers in CA tonight? We're just shiny hunting today. We'll probably do another battle of viewers soon, hopefully. Call me sad, that's fine. My god, this scene is so peak. This scene is so peak. To help me, scene is still top 10 OP moments for me, and that is facts! That is facts!
Causing her to run away. Now in a flood of tears, crushed by the weight of her circumstances, realizing that she's pushed everyone away for seemingly now no reason at all, and that all of this effort has completely 100% been a total waste of time. She collapses.
This is so sad.
Overcome by emotion, trying to cut off the tattoo she got to demonstrate her allegiance to Arlong. And this is when Luffy walks up to her one last time. Her initial reaction is to scream at him to leave, to do what she says. Luffy acknowledges this, but still does nothing.
He's like, I'm not going to
In
leave.
a final moment of what I could only describe as complete and utter desperation, she turns to him and cries for help. This line hit me.
Where's my Kleenex? I'm crying. Hold up, wait. Oh god. Oh god. This scene is so painful. And like the fact Luffy had no idea. He has no idea. He didn't hear everything. like the whole backstory, because the rest of the crew knows. They know now what she was put through. But because he cares about Nami and sees her crying and in so much pain, he is literally like, where's this guy? Where's this guy? He is going to pay. He is going to pay for making you feel the way you're feeling. I'm gonna beat the shit out of him. Oh my god, I love this anime.
It's so hard because you know that this is said only out of absolute despair. And what makes it all the more powerful is that despite being told to leave, being told that Nami doesn't like them anymore, and that despite her insistence that she doesn't need them or him, Luffy, without hesitation, places his hat on Nami's quivering head, reassuring her that he will see to this being fixed. He makes his way back.
And he did! I love my goats!
Back to the crew, who clearly have all this time been waiting for the go-ahead from Luffy. They are a loyal group that are there to protect each other. Loving friends to the bitter end, no matter what happens. This exchange is possibly the most pure and wonderfully touching thing I've ever read in manga, and I think it goes without saying brought quite a few tears to my eyes. Made all the more
and that's
touching
facts.
when I remember when he first met Nami, he said not to touch his hat, and yet now he elects to give it to her to keep safe, indicating visually to us that she has his complete and total trust. And given the things that she said to him earlier in this arc, that act is made all the more poignant. And this brings us up to the fight scenes, and Oda manages to give each character in the crew fighting for Nami a utility in this mini story and battle that are not only fulfilling for those characters, but specifically don't make them feel like Luffy's lesser, which I think is vitally important, especially in a show like this. And what I find to be the most impressive is, 2 moments from this fight scene actually got me to jump out of my seat and say, yes! So let's
real.
Immediately following that reaffirmation of friendship and trust comes a massive fight scene to cap off the arc. If I were to divide it into sections,
this is insane.
Luffy's opening statement would be the first.
This is insane. We love my goats. These straw hats. Yes.
And by far and away the most interesting and compelling moments from this fight for me have to be the contributions supplied by Sanji, Zoro, and Usopp, with each character serving a critical part of the narrative in this scuffle. One aspect I am always terrified of whenever I read shonen or experience the genre is that of the secondary character effect. Zoro and Sanji both have strong fighting abilities, but with them not being the main characters themselves, oftentimes it falls onto the lap of the main character to clean up their messes or supplement their limitations. In other words, in other shonen, they are often there to be the sidekick to the main character, to make them look better. But One Piece doesn't do this in the slightest, or at least hasn't done so yet. Zoro fights bravely and valiantly while also having a built-in excuse of still healing from the attack from Hawkeye in the prior arc. And Sanji pretty much single-handedly saves the damn day by freeing Luffy from the rubble beneath the water while also dealing with another fisherman. But what Oda does with Usopp is my absolute favorite.
This is the best one. I fucking love this scene.
Up until this point had yet to be presented with a moment to truly prove himself. Throughout this arc, he has stuck up for other people, but always ran away. Not because he didn't care about these people, but because he was genuinely terrified. And
he was.
That's sort of the key to Usopp. For me, I was totally sold on his character after his introduction during the Syrup Village arc, but during Baratie, he barely participated as Sanji was receiving center stage treatment as
the Usopp hammer, the rubber band of death!
That happened then. So when he got his chance to shine in this arc, it really helped solidify him as one of my favorite characters in this series. He's a
Wait, I never watched the 4Kids dub. Did Bellemere actually get told? Did the audience actually think Bellemere is being tortured in a dungeon? That's insane. They didn't kill her off. I didn't watch the 4Kids dub, so I wouldn't know. Did they? What do you mean? Yes. Oh my goodness.
A regular guy that sees the danger in everything. He has his talents and interests, sure, but he is by no means a physically gifted fighter. Meaning, by acting as the others do, despite being terrified and not as well prepared, it makes him the most courageous character in the entire series. And when he finally got the win in this arc against a far stronger opponent using his clever tactics, I actually leapt from my seat and shed a tear for him because I knew how much it must have meant to him. I am aware that he's a fictional character, but it did mean a lot to me in that moment. How he finally felt validated as a warrior, taking his first step towards his dream. Despite all of these wonderful things Oda successfully performed here, I do find one aspect of this arc to be, well, I don't want to say lacking, but not nearly as good as the rest of it has been. And that's the fight scene which ended this arc between Luffy and Arlong. When it comes to scripting a fight scene, Oda is once again very good, but I wouldn't say exceptional like he is with character writing, dialogue, even previous fights, and world building.
Fair.
During the battle with Arlong, some of the set pieces were interesting, like him jumping into the water, launching himself out of it at Luffy. But apart from that, I don't really think anything stands out to me. In direct contrast with that, we have his fight with dankuri. Interwoven between these bursts of battle between the two characters were other fights, character introductions, schemes, strategies, personal pride, and the story of Luffy proving himself to Krieg. And that's ignoring all the other back and forths and struggles throughout that final conclusion. But with the fight with Arlong, it felt distinctly one-dimensional to me, especially when you compare the two side by side. My impression was that Arlong was supposed to be this imposing, impenetrable force, something unlike anything Luffy has ever experienced, someone to really push him and give him a challenge. But it didn't really feel like Luffy was given that much of a challenge with this guy, at least compared to the last main arc battle with dankuri, who pushed him to his limits. Now, there's the obviously compelling motivation Luffy has to fight him, as well as me, the audience, actually caring about it, but apart from simply fighting him, there wasn't much else to it, and unfortunately,
you know what, that's fair.
During this fight scene, I found some of the panels, despite being drawn perfectly fine, did not flow very well for my taste, and in one or two cases, sort of confusing. But even if I was to ignore all of that, I think the most obvious shortcoming within this final fight between Luffy and Arlong for me comes in the fight's climax within the cartography room that Nami drew up all the maps and ocean charts for the evildoers throughout the years. Now, naturally, there would of course be a place that Nami did all of this work that she despised and was abused in. However, we don't really ever see or hear about that. Unlike the rest of Oda's writing in this chapter, this room has no emotional through line for the readers and viewers, or at least it didn't for me. And for the climax to come from Nami quietly saying thank you while crying in response to seeing Luffy destroy the room and ultimately liberate her, it's a sweet gesture and I did enjoy it, but it had nowhere near the impact I thought it could have had. And while the presence of the room is perfectly fine, the story didn't really spend any time building that up. But one place it did spend time exploring and familiarizing ourselves with was the village Nami grew up in, Cocoa Village. What if instead of destroying a single room, Arlong had gone berserk and vowed to erase Cocoa Village from the face of the earth? He already went berserk in the fight, but very little changed before and after he did go berserk, really. Cocoa Village was the place she spent almost a decade as a slave to protect. Imagine if she was faced with that threat, and imagine if Luffy was the only thing standing between her home and certain destruction. There's tons of emotional resonance with that, and it could have even involved the townspeople to stand up for themselves alongside Luffy. It's just a thought off the top of my head, but I thought it could have worked better than a cartography room that we had never been exposed to before. Now, I'm told
that I feel like is completely fair. That is so fair.
Totally aware that this might seem like a small nitpick, and
yeah,
honestly because it is. But I think it stuck out to me as
being blinded by nostalgia's
direct
peak.
contrast with the utterly spectacular arc as a whole. However, with all of that said, despite my small issues with it, Arlong Park is easily the best outing so far in One Piece, and is composed of a series of profoundly and masterfully handled moments, conflicts, and scenes that truly touched me, and I'm sure will stay with me long after I finish reviewing this series.
My goat.
Who gave Luffy his lucky straw hat? Was it Usopp, Shanks, or Sonic?
I think it was Sonic!
Loguetown chapters 96 to 100. What's funny about this short but dense arc is that while I was starting to believe I had any grasp on the scope of Oda's writing, he swerves me yet.
Husband number 27. Smoker.
Again, with something I alluded to
I'd also let that man fuck me.
in the last review. And I think this particular choice and idea illustrates exactly where Oda's proclivities for action and story lie. For him, it's very much substance over style, and nothing demonstrates that more than the cover art for each chapter he's released. For instance, when it came to Dragon Ball by Akira Toriyama, his cover art would be simply representative largely of what would be happening in this week's chapter or something unrelated. But Eiichiro Oda has decided to tell his own secondary story and subplot using the cover pages of his chapters.
Oh my goodness, I need to.
One after the other, they tell.
Again, I don't read the manga, so I had no idea this was like a thing.
The story of Buggy the Clown after his defeat at the hands of Luffy, how he came to meet a new business partner, and how he regained his foothold.
Oh wait, this was a filler arc, no? In the anime, where Buggy was just like, his little head was just going around.
Threat in society. It's funny, it's character rich, and it's a whole lot of work. And
It was in the manga. I swear there was like a few episodes where Buggy was just like going around and just having a good time. There was like maybe 2 or 3 episodes.
For this story arc to work. And I say vital not only because it's necessary for you to understand Buggy's presence in this arc with the new and improved Lady Alvida, but because this is the
Oh, she a baddie now.
mini arc that showed me that I really have no idea what the hell is going to happen. Whether it be
Yup. That is a very, very hot man.
through character-rich dialogue while Zoro is buying swords that reminds him of his childhood rival and friend, the intimidating reveal of Captain Smoker, and that's not a joke name, that's actually his name, the reintroduction of an older, more grizzled, red-haired Shanks, and the unveiling of a mysterious gentleman that has an invested interest in the progression of Luffy and his gang. To say this arc has a lot to cover is an absolute understatement. I had to read it twice to make sure I got everything, and spoiler alert, I didn't. Again, thanks to the cover art, we are reminded that this isn't like a typical manga where villains and characters get forgotten about once their arc is done.
Nope.
It's a fully realized world, and the characters who are off-screen are moving around living their lives too. And because of this, One Piece's world feels so alive. I have no idea what's going to happen next. Zoro's got new swords, Luffy was rescued from Gold Roger's shopping block, and the next stop is the Grand Friggin' Line. And they're still enjoying a storm that was started by a man that I think has the power to control the weather. Maybe he's
Nominee for worst father of the year, but you know what? For what he does in this arc, I'll give him the pass.
one of the 7 warlords of the Grand Line that was mentioned at the beginning of the Arlong arc. Yeah, I remember that. What of it? This series is absolutely nuts in the best way possible, and I honestly
still
have no
think
idea what's
Yasop gets worst father of the year award. Dragging a deadbeat Yasop is definitely worst father of the year. Fuck that guy.
next. I have so many questions at this point in the story, like,
To be fair, I don't know who. I only know dragons in Revolutionary Army, and that's it. So, oh, I probably should have mentioned because I probably should have mentioned at the beginning of the video. I'm still at the end of Fishman Island, so I don't know anything past that.
who are Luffy's parents and why haven't we seen them? What does the D in Monkey D. Luffy stand for? Who were Nami's
I was told people still don't know what the D means.
biological parents? In fact, we don't really know anything about any of the group's parents.
Wait, we're not slandering Usopp. Usopp did nothing wrong. His father, on the other hand.
Apart from Usopp's, whose father we know still operates with Shanks. I have no idea what's
Yeah. Worst father of the year.
to come on this journey. We'll probably end up cycling through all the 7 warlords at some point during the Grand Line, and I'm sure a variety of devil fruit will play a large role too. Maybe you can stockpile them. Who knows? Aside from my crackpot theories at this point, I can see why so many of you are excited for me to discover these arcs of the show. There's a very real
So
feeling
good.
of progression, increased stakes, and an emotional maturity that the shonen genre of that age often didn't.
Nisekoi? Is Nisekoi considered shonen? Why is this all everybody and then there's Chitoge? Is it really? It's considered it's Shonen Jump. Oh, okay. I was like, I don't think it's a shonen anime, but I guess it is Shonen Jump.
Employ. In fact, the more that I read One Piece,
Yeah, rom-com harem shonen.
the more
Hey man, I'm Team Chitoge all the way.
convinced that it's actually an adult emotional comedy disguised as a
Who do you
children's
think Luffy's mom is? Crocodile.
action manga. And that's not to say that kids can't love this series too, it's just typically things don't get this nuanced when it comes to emotional punchlines in a series of this type.
I'm not a big Onodera fan, but Chitoge, I get why people like Onodera. Oh my god, we'll get into this whole Nisekoi like rant, but I was always Team Chitoge. I don't hate Onodera, but I'm like Team Chitoge. She's my girl.
In the case of the Arlong Park arc, for the
Yeah, I think Luffy's mom is Crocodile.
entire thing to hinge on the delivery of Chapter 81's emotional send-off, I think it takes a lot of confidence in your writing, which I'm sincerely happy Oda has. I thought the decision for the arc to largely center around Nami's struggle with allowing others into her life to help her situation was an inspired choice, creating
So
for me
good.
one of the most beautiful page turns I have ever in my life experienced. Trust is a really compelling theme to center a story around, and I loved every moment of this one and its execution. But at the end of the day, I was only reading this story alone in my dark room at the age of 28, and it still managed to evoke emotions from me I hadn't felt since I was a young kid.
That's how you know when something like this can make a grown man cry. That's how you know it's good.
Watching the story that would later change my life. And because of that, while I do appreciate this story immensely, I can't begin to imagine the impact a story like this, with the lessons, morals, and dialogue it has, had on those of you watching right now that grew up with it. I can't wait to see what's next. I've been Totally Not Mark, and thank you so much for watching.
Hell yeah, brother. Yeah, no, it's cool because, yeah, you're right. Nami's arc was subtly developing for however many chapters, how many episodes. There was definitely breadcrumbs scattered around, and, you know, talking about her tangerines, her making off comments about, I need to be free. Like, you don't know as a reader or a viewer, like, what the fuck is she talking about? And you watch Arlong Park and you find out she's literally trying to fucking free her entire village. She's basically been a slave to Arlong, and she has been going through so much. It's such good writing, and thankfully the payoff was so good. I'm a One Piece glazer for life, brother. I'm a One Piece glazer for life. Oh my god, wait, we hit under 10 hours again. Let's go! Holy shit, we're so back. We're back to sub 10 hours. Please, let's keep it there, chat. So I can end this subathon in 2 days. It'll be fun. It'll be fun, I promise. There's an Ace light novel. I need to read that. I need to read that. I see Ace and I'm like, yes, my goat. Ace is my goat. I'm playing him right now in the TCG, and I've been called a lot of names. I've heard it all. Yeah, I've seen the Sanji manga that was illustrated and written by the Food Wars mangaka. Yeah, Ace is discussing the TCG. Yeah, as of OP 13, the top 3 decks is Ace, Emu, and Zoro. And then once we go into OP 14, did I say 13 or 14? Once we go into OP 14, it'll be Boa Hancock, Emu, Ace, and maybe Mihawk. Yeah, I have all of those decks built because it brings me happiness. Shiny cardboard. Okay, everybody has their designer stuff. You know, my family likes their Louis Vuitton bags, their Prada shoes and all that. Nah, I just like cardboard. Can't wait for OP 14 Boa. Same. I literally put all the cards I needed for Boa in a deck box. And I think I just need the new stuff. I have everything else already. Yeah, but right now Ace is really fun, and Ace is still good into the next format, which I'm happy about because it's the one deck I can probably play in my sleep right now. I could play Emu, but I need to be locked in. Have you tried the online version of the TCG made by fans? Yeah, I played it a few times on stream. I just don't play it a lot because it gets me. I get lower viewership, so I'm kind of like, I don't know if I should stream that. I don't know if I should stream it. Hi, Rodum TCG. Boa Hancock is my ultimate queen in the show. Bro, she is Delulu. Like me, for real, for real. I low-key want to buy an OP14 case, but for as much money as it costs, I don't know if I should. I technically could afford it, but I'd have to dip a little bit into my savings account, which I don't want to do. She Delulufi. Exactly. W, overpriced cardboard. Yes! Yes! I have 25 different boa figures. Can you give me one of them? I really... Oh my god, chat. Hold up. Let me see if I can find it. There is this one figure I really want. I think I tweeted it on Twitter. But unfortunately, she is like $300 and I just cannot afford to spend $300 right now on a figure. Oh, this figure. This figure I want so bad. Holy! Oh, God! Oh! My Pokey. That's my queen. I love her. Thank you, Olda. I almost said older. I got the Egghead Chopper figure. Do I have my Milner hat? Hold up. Where is my Nico Robin hat? Aha. Here we go. Can somebody please make this a real hat? It's so funny. I want this hat. Somebody please make this into merch. I will cry. She will see this in about a year and I'll buy it and it'll be like shipping in 2028. I don't even know if I'm gonna be living here in 2028. I'll ship it to my familia's house. I'm surprised it doesn't exist already, if you want me to be honest. Honestly, I need this as official merch. Like, somebody needs to actually make this hat. Your music is still playing? Oh, shit. Robin does serve. Facts. Facts. Oh my god. Annie's Lobby Robin? Existentially and Sibo, thank you for the follows. Oh! Oh! I'm gooning. I'm just kidding. I'm gooning on stream, crazy. On Twitch, insane. I would never goon on stream. You know what I would do? I would be down bad on stream. Now that's allowed. Gooning, however, no. Anyways, all right. Next video. This is actually a shorter video. I refuse. By shorter, I mean it's 18 minutes. I refuse to believe Bon Clay is dead. Bon Clay is my goat. Bon Clay is not dead, okay? I did not see him die on screen. Thus, in my head, he is not dead. All right? We're gonna be watching Why Everyone Loves Bon Clay by Impel, because I have never met a person that hates Bon Clay. I feel like everybody loves Bon Clay. And I love Bon Clay. Bon-chan, my goat.
Baratie is no secret, but just why is he so beloved by the fans? How could someone who started off as a random villain for Sanji to fight in Alabasta transform into one of the most legendary characters in manga history? Well, today I'll be covering every single
In the great words of Bon Clay, queers never die.
Information we have about Bon Clay to find the answer to that. We know almost nothing about his past, only that he ate the Mane Mane no Mi sometime after the death of the previous user. This ability was able to perfectly imitate anyone, from their voice to their body, despite gender and size. This power would prove to be unbelievably useful and play a huge role throughout Bon Clay's entire life. Sometime later, he was recruited to join Baroque Works by the Warlord of the Sea Crocodile, and at this point—
Husband number 69, by the way.
Important to mention
Not Bon Clay, but Crocodile.
the situation of Bon Clay's gender. He has a very fluid view of it, seeing himself as both male and female. He mentions later that he was a big fan of Emporio Ivankov, who he called the greatest Okama, and an idol to Okamas worldwide, and could have been an inspiration for his ideology. Now with that context, in Baroque works, the agents come in pairs, one male assigned a number and one female assigned a day, all except for Bon Clay, who was named both Mr. 2 and Bon Clay, a festival in Japan, probably at his request, and also a testament to his power, as he was able to handle both positions single-handedly. The only mission we know he was assigned before he appeared in the story officially was to use his power to get close to King Cobra and copy his face, which would be essential for Crocodile's plans later. His first official appearance came in chapter 129, when he was
Can I just say, Crocodile, I think up until this point is still like one of my favorite villains ever, because think about it, he had such a perfect plan. It was gonna span over a long period of time. It was going well. He was about to get what he wanted. But then Luffy showed up and like wrecked everything. But he's such a calculated and well written villain. God.
After Mr. 3 was defeated by the Straw Hat Pirates, being ordered to kill him for his failure, but by the time they arrived, Mr. 3 was missing. They followed the route between Alabasta and Little Garden and didn't find Mr. 3 along the way like they were supposed to. He was extremely stressed, since as he was assigned to kill Mr. 3, Mr. 1 would be assigned to kill him if he failed this mission, so he ordered them to sail back to Alabasta to catch Mr. 3 along the way. On the trip back, they encountered some smoke, but Bon Clay ordered his crew to ignore it and sail through, wasting no time as his life depended on this mission. But while in the smoke, Bon Clay ended up stuck on the end of a fishing pole holding a duck. Long story, but he panicked and let go, falling into the ocean, certain death for any Delphi user, but he was saved by the Straw Hats. He was extremely thankful, explaining that he couldn't swim because of his fruit, and when Usopp asked him what kind he had, he decided to entertain them by showing off his power. He touched Luffy's face and transformed into a perfect replica of him, down to the voice. He turned back and repeated this with the other members, to the astonishment of the crew. He didn't want to show any more of the transformations he had to keep up his sense of secrecy, but was easily convinced by the adoration and cheers of the Straw Hats. He cycled through the faces he gathered over the years until he reached the face of King Cobra. Unbeknownst to him, Cobra's own daughter was on the ship and started to realize who he was. But before she could, Bon Clay's crew had come back and found him, and so it was time for him to say goodbye. He said that every voyage has to come to an end, but friendship isn't determined by how much time you've spent together. Bon Clay treasures friendship.
I'm so sad.
Friendships and bonds more than anything else. We don't know exactly why. It could have been from experiences in his past or just the ideology he built up throughout his life, but he truly loves and cares for everyone he calls a friend, and will do his best to be as good of a friend as he can be. But for now, it was time for them to part. But they all wished to meet again someday, but that day would come sooner than expected, as Bon Clay's crew announced his full code name, and the Straw Hats immediately realized who he was. They would soon be enemies, but Bon Clay was none the wiser, and was in a great mood after making new friends, which at the very least took a load off his mind, and made him less stressed out about the mission he was on. He was ultimately unable to find Mr. 3, but luckily Crocodile didn't kill him for that, as Bon Clay's Delphi would be vital in his upcoming plans, so instead called him and the other top agents to a meeting. Bon Clay was now completely relaxed, without the threat of death hanging on him, so went back to his goofy ways, doing his ballerina routine with his crew all the way to the meeting point. He was bickering with the other agents while waiting, when Mr. 1 stormed in, throwing Bon Clay's subordinates into the building, beaten to near death. This enraged Bon Clay. Friendship and bonds are the most important things to him, so doing this to his subordinates was inexcusable, so he had no choice but to attack Mr. 1. He kicked him through a wall, and they were both gearing up for a fight to the death, but were stopped by the other agents. This scene really shows the depths of Bon Clay's loyalty. He had just been stressed and terrified a few days earlier about being hunted down and killed by Mr. 1, but after that very same person nearly killed his subordinates, he didn't even hesitate to pick a fight with him. Bon Clay does what's most impressive for a person to do. He ignores and conquers his biggest fears with courage and strength for the sake of those he cares about. After this, they transport to Crocodile's casino, where his true identity is revealed to them, which shocks them all to the core, including Bon Clay. Crocodile was acting as a hero to the people of Alabasta, but in reality he was plotting on their downfall the entire time.
He was ready to take over!
Working for a pirate, but after Crocodile reveals his plan of conquering Alabasta, Bonclay is excited at the prospect. This is the first blatant showing of Bonclay's darker side. He seems like the type to be very loyal and caring to his friends, but isn't concerned about people he isn't connected to. For example, the average person in Alabasta, who would have a much harder life, if not worse, be killed by Crocodile's plans. But this is just where his character starts, and he'll experience a lot of growth later on. But this is also where he discovered that his new friends the Straw Hats were actually their enemies. Crocodile then demonstrated what would happen if his agents failed him, saying that what he hated most was when someone failed at the crucial moment. This emphasized the importance that all of them complete their final missions perfectly, and for Bonclay, his was the most gruesome of all. He impersonated King Cobra, went to the city of Nanohana,
Oh god, this was painful.
and ordered his royal guards to burn it all to the ground. A little boy protested this, and he responded by kicking him away heartlessly. He was then confronted by the revolutionary leader Koza, and admitted
Koza can fucking get it, by the way. That man's hot.
to all the crimes that Cobra was framed for, which brought out pure rage in Koza, as countless people had died believing in the king, who'd been nothing but kind before this, but Bonclay was destroying that image with his very own hands, and then to finish it off, commanded that Koza be shot, while smiling about the destruction that was being laid on the city. This is by far the lowest point of Bonclay's character, borderline evil, and he took it even further when he impersonated Usopp, a person he called a friend. But he would get what he deserved when he faced off with Sanji.
True.
Bonclay used the full scope of his fruit once he figured out Sanji's weakness to women. This worked well until Sanji outsmarted him in the
He fucking impersonates Nami. He's like, I can't hit Nami.
battle turned, with Bonclay getting heavily outclassed, but Sanji's injuries from earlier in the fight were slowing him down as well, so they were almost even going into the final clash. But in the end, Sanji came out on top, albeit barely. He told Sanji to kill him, as the organization would do so anyway. With his impersonation job being done, they had no reason to keep him alive, but Sanji refused. He said they had a good fight, and that was all. This shocked Bonclay, rattled his worldview. Bonclay thought that he was living proof of respect between enemies, and he wouldn't forget this gesture. Crocodile was later defeated, and with that, any reason for Bonclay and the Straw Hats to be enemies was gone. Bonclay thought ahead and knew the Marines would be searching for the ship as they recovered, so hid it. And as the Straw Hats were preparing to leave, he called them up and told them about this. They were obviously angry and skeptical about him after everything he'd done, but they had no choice but to meet him as that was the only way to get their ship back. And he gave it back to them, just as he said he would, and told them that the reason he took it was to protect it from the Navy, and this quickly flipped their opinion completely back.
This scene is what solidified it to me that Bonclay is a great character. They were only able to escape because of him. Bonclay literally got himself fucking captured to make sure Straw Boy could get off and back.
It was as if nothing changed from when they first met, but Zoro revealed another motive. Mr. 2 wanted to ally with them to get off the island himself, as the Navy blockade was stopping him from leaving as well, so he wasn't completely reformed just yet. Despite their efforts, the Navy found their location and attacked them with all their might, but Usopp was able to sink one of their ships, which opened up a hole in their formation, and Bonclay yelled out that this was their chance to escape, but the Straw Hats said they would stay behind. They said that they had to meet someone,
Oh,
but Bonclay
man.
said that was suicide and was about to leave, until they told him they were going to pick up a friend, and this stopped Bonclay in his tracks. Friendship is the most sacred thing to him. It's his core principle, and he values it over everything else. And knowing what was at stake now, he refused to leave. The Straw Hats were risking everything for a friend, and he couldn't abandon them while they were doing so. And he made the ultimate
It would
choice.
literally go against his morals.
He transformed into Luffy and started sailing off. All the Marines chased after his ship, but when they caught up, he revealed a trick. He declared that he was a friend of the Straw Hats, and went into battle to let them escape, risking his life and sacrificing everything.
Oh
Luckily,
my
he wasn't killed.
god.
He was captured, but was soon able to escape.
Thank God.
He laid low for a while, even completely changing his look, and encountered Mr. 3. But nearby, Miss Valentine was captured, and Bonclay went to rescue her, but was yet again captured himself. I think these cover stories are important. It shows that Bonclay truly did learn a lot, and turned over a new leaf since his sacrifice for the Straw Hats, and has been
The cover stories,
trying his
man.
best to grow and selflessly help people as much as possible, but unfortunately, this time the Marines wouldn't be so lenient. He was thrown in with Mr. 1, Mr. 3, and Crocodile, and all
The
of them
whole
were
gang.
transferred to Impel Down, the worst prison in the world, where he was sentenced to life. He was put into level 3, the Starvation Hell, a barren
This one's a
wasteland
pretty
with
bad
sweltering
level.
heat and restricted food, meant to dry out the prisoners prisoners and put them in a constant state of starvation. But despite this bleak environment with no hope of escape, Bonclay was still his optimistic self, befriending the other prisoners on the level and choosing to spend his time dancing. His willpower and resolve is incredible. He never lets himself give in to despair, no matter how hopeless or horrific his situation is. Sometime after his capture, Mr. 3 and Buggy the Clown came to set him free, and after he got out of his cell, saw his dear friend Luffy finally reuniting with him.
This reunion is so emotional. Dear God.
Bonclay had heard from Buggy and Mr. 3 that Luffy wanted to meet someone at level 5, and he said he did too. He heard that his greatest idol Emporio Vonkov was in Impel Down, and with his reputation as the top commander of the revolutionary army had to be on the lowest floor, but the road to getting there would be long and incredibly dangerous. Regardless, Bonclay and Luffy breezed through level 3, defeating every guard they came across, until they climbed up the wall and looked down on
by the way.
4, the Inferno Hell. All of the burning heat on level 3 was just residual from the burning temperatures on level 4. They were attacked by another guard, and due to the power of Bonclay's kick, the floor collapsed and they fell down. Luckily, they missed the molten lava, but the heat was nearly unbearable. By this point, after weeks of starvation, Bonclay was extremely hungry, and of course Luffy was as well, so they ran towards the kitchens, but were intercepted by Magellan, the warden of Impel.
Oh my God.
Luffy didn't know who he
Diarrhea
was, but
Man.
Bonclay knew all too well.
Guys, it's Diarrhea Man!
Horror stories about him, and he screamed for Luffy to not fight him. He had the Venom Fruit, one of the most lethal devil fruits in the world, with the power to inflict deadly poison with just a touch. Bonclay begged Luffy to run, but Magellan responded that all the exits were
He is just like me. Magellan is all of us after a quesarito at Taco Bell.
Way out. With this, Magellan wasted no time attacking, even killing his own men in the process. He then struck out at Luffy and chased him around relentlessly, with Luffy not even being able to counterattack since he would be poisoned if he touched Magellan even once. During this, Bonclay slipped away and hid behind a corner. He had a choice to make: stay and help Luffy fight against the seemingly invincible Magellan, or run. And in this moment, the odds were too stacked against Luffy, so he chose to run. He was crying while he ran, devastated, but knowing there was no way to win, he thought there was no other choice. But he promised something: if Luffy survived, he would stop at nothing to save him. So when he heard he was, even if just barely, he had to go back. He tricked the Vice Warden with his power, got a copy of his
I
face, and
love this
transformed into
scene
him.
where he makes himself into Nami and Hanabi's like, yes, take off your clothes.
And used his chance to get a copy of Magellan's face as well. He was told that Luffy was on level 5 and that there was no way to save him now, but Bonclay didn't care, and when asked why he would be willing to give up his life for Luffy, said that he was his friend.
His friend.
And that was the only reason he needed.
Friendship.
He then transformed into the Vice Warden to meet with the Impel Down doctors and get an antidote for Magellan's poison, but was told that there was none, and that he was completely beyond saving. He was told that no one had ever survived the poison, that it would take a miracle. And it clicked for Bonclay. They needed a miracle, and there was only one person that could give them
Eva,
one:
my
Ivankov.
other goat.
Bonclay was easily able to get down to level 5 as the Vice Warden, and got a list of the inmates, but when he found Ivankov's name, it was crossed out. He asked the guards why this was, and they said that on occasion, random prisoners would disappear, and the folklore behind it was that they were being dragged to the gates of hell itself. Bonclay had no time to think about this. Luffy's poison would kill him in less than 24 hours, so he had to press forward, and so stepped into the freezing hell of level 5. He quickly encountered wolves that were so ferocious they had to be put on this floor instead of the others, because he would have killed the other prison animals if they were put together. And Bonclay was left to fend them off by himself, but somehow he managed it, and slipped
Look
away
at
to look
him.
for
I like realized at this moment when I was watching Impel Down, I'm like, fuck, I didn't realize Bonclay was so fucking jacked.
Luffy, and was able to find him. He asked for his forgiveness for running away before, but Luffy was barely conscious. He unlocked the cell and dragged him out and started to pull him around, looking for Ivankov. He never lost hope.
My
He knew that his idol
God.
couldn't have fallen victim
Bonclay's my goat.
to his curse, and he believed that he was still performing miracles in Impel Down. He was their last hope, and all Bonclay could do was not give up. The wolves attacked him again, this time in huge numbers. He did well, taking out many of them, but combined with his hunger, injuries, and stamina running low, he struggled to hold them off any longer.
Oh my
They ruthlessly attacked him,
goodness.
biting into his flesh, but when it seemed like it was over, Luffy rose up and bit them back, then used his conqueror's haki to knock all of them out for what they did to his friend. Bonclay was surprised, but by this point they'd both run out of energy and went unconscious. When he woke up, Bonkley found himself in a place completely alien to the rest of the prison. People were eating, drinking, and laughing, and this left Bonkley completely stunned. He thought he died and had woken up in paradise, but he was told that him and Luffy were rescued and brought here. He demanded to know where Luffy was, but was interrupted by the lights going out, and a person about to perform on stage. He explained to Bonkley that the guards were confused, and all the rumors about
I would be
prisoners being taken
confused
to hell were
too.
wrong.
Shit.
Every single one of them had been taken here, to level 5.5, the prisoner's secret garden, New Kama Land. This man was the Emporio Ivankov that Bonkley had been idolizing for years. This whole time, he really was working miracles, saving lives and creating a place of freedom inside the worst prison in the world. Bonkley was completely starstruck in meeting his idol, but didn't forget the urgent matter at hand. He begged Ivankov to save Luffy, but Ivankov said that they were outlaws and didn't save just anyone. That the reason they treated him was because Luffy, even while on his deathbed, begged them to save him. This touched Ivankov, and he felt that he had no choice
Ivankov's also my goat.
but to treat both of them, and Bonkley was relieved.
Hee-haw!
Luffy's treatment had started 10 hours before, but it was so painful and gruesome that he'd been screaming the entire time. Ivankov brought Bonkley to where Luffy was, and he was heartbroken by this, and when he went to take a look, he was horrified. The treatment was tearing his body apart. Bonkley was in tears and begged Ivankov to stop the bleeding and save him, but Ivankov slapped him. This treatment, however painful, was the only way Luffy could be saved. It was all based on his own willpower now. Ivankov said that he didn't help those who didn't want to help themselves. He was called a miracle worker, but miracles only happen to those that never give up. And even with that, Luffy still had 2 more days to go. But Ivankov said that Bonkley needed to rest too, that he'd get him some food and a place to sleep, but he refused. He went to where Luffy was instead and started cheering him on. How could he call himself a friend if he relaxed while Luffy was going through the worst agony of his life? No, he had to be there to support him no matter what. He screamed at the top of his lungs so Luffy wouldn't be alone. He screamed until his throat bled, but he kept going for 7 hours straight, but Luffy's screaming stopped. Blood poured out of the room, and Ivankov said that could only mean one thing. He was dead. Bonkley was beyond devastated and started crying his eyes out, but after that brief silence, Luffy yelled out for food. He didn't die. Instead, the treatment was complete after just 20 hours, and
That's
Bonkley felt the
insane.
biggest wave of relief of his entire life.
Straw
Luffy proceeded
boy!
to eat several days worth of New Kama's food supply, but he was fully recovered. Luffy was happy to see that Bonkley was
Jesus Christ. I like think about all the time how during this arc, like Luffy got like almost no sleep. Like he wasn't sleeping here. He was fighting off all the venom for 20 hours and he was just like, no, I have to save my brother. I have to save him. Oh my God.
also fine, but everything that happened drained all the energy he had, and he finally passed out. Ivankov told Luffy,
But he goes, I got my own herd now. Honestly, there's just so many great characters in One Piece, and Bonkley is definitely up
He
there.
bowed down to the floor and thanked him for everything. When Bonkley woke up, Ivankov gave him an energy boost with his Zell fruit, and they all began making their escape from the prison. After fighting tooth and nail,
Can you imagine being a prison guard at Impel Down at this point? Ivankov's been missing for years, and you find just randomly one day, you know, someone broke into the prison. They're breaking other prisoners out, and then Ivankov is just like out and running over there. I could not. I'd be so mad if I was on the shift working at Impel Down. If this was my shift, holy fuck, I would be pissed.
hundreds of guards, dodging Magellan, Blackbeard, and more.
Yeah, Luffy literally did not sleep for 4 arcs.
They were able to reach the exit, but this was when they encountered a problem. The Gate of Justice. The only way they could leave was through the gate, which could only be opened from the inside of Impel Down. This meant that someone had to stay behind in order for the others to leave, and Bonkley didn't hesitate to volunteer. He told Jinbei not to tell Luffy until after they went through the gate, so that the communications would be cut. Bonkley didn't want a huge tearful goodbye. He just wanted to do what was right for his friend. He didn't need the affirmation or thanks. He did it because it was right. So he disguised himself as Magellan and gave the order for the gates to be opened. But right before the ship passed through, Luffy called him. He was shocked as he told Jinbei not to tell him, but Luffy said they were supposed to escape together. That he always helps him, but he never gets a chance to pay him back. Everyone else who'd escaped heard this and all started thanking him and begging him to say something.
He's not dead, Chad. He's not dead.
Right when the gates were about to close, he had to answer. With tears in his eyes, he thanked Luffy and told him to save his brother.
Oh
and that he
my
knew he could do
fucking
it. And the
God.
connection cut off. He turned to Magellan, and before making his last stand, he hoped that him and Luffy would meet again as soon as possible. Though it seemed like Magellan would kill him, Bonclay was spared, presumably thrown into a lower level than before, level 4 or maybe even 5. But 2 years later, we see that he made his way back to New Kama Land and became their new leader, taking over his idol Ivankov's place and being able to find his happy ending. We don't know where he'll go from here. His wish to meet Luffy again is reassuring.
Is this cope? Is this cope?
Will reunite sometime in the future.
Am I coping?
For now, Bonclay can rest and live his dreams in paradise. Bonclay is a much darker and more complex character than people give him credit for. He's not the perfect person he's often made out to be. He's done horrible things, he's had moments of fear and doubt, but I think this side of him only improves him as a character. To be able to redeem his horrible actions and come back to his principles, no matter how scared he is, willing to sacrifice everything for his friends, truly makes him one of the greatest characters Oda has ever put to paper.
That's facts. GOAT, greatest of all time. Edward Newgate. This was such a good video. I love Bon and Clay. Okay, I will. If you hate Bon Clay, you're not my friend. You're not my friend. Get out of here. Get out. He's so good. Spoilers up to Fishman Island. That's fine. I'm right on Fishman Island. Oh god, I love that. I love that. Okay, guys. I'm looking at the time right now, and I don't think we'll be able to shiny hunt today, unfortunately, because I was supposed to end stream around 5 because I have to go to an appointment, which means we have time to react to probably one more video, and then we'll call it for the day. So let me change the YouTube title. Hehehe. Bon Bon and his swans will never perish, and that is facts. Bon Clay haters are not welcome here. They are not. If you're a Bon Clay hater, I hate you. Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful video. All right, chat. We have one last video we're going to react to today, because of course I had to throw in, you know, the one M1J TV video, since that seems to be everyone's favorite, and honestly one of mine as well. We're going to be watching Best Pokemon of Every Type by M&J TV. Also, don't mind my hat. All right, listen, I had to just let everybody know that I love Nico Robin from One Piece.
Spooky fans, Michael here, and today I'll be covering my favorite Pokemon for every one of the 18 Pokemon types.
That's a lot of types.
I've done this before.
I really doubt Pokemon will ever make more types, but I think it would be really cool if they did.
But it's been a while, and I figured it was time for an update. First up, my favorite bug type is Vikavolt. From the moment this Pokemon was revealed in the lead up to Sun and Moon, I thought it was awesome. Most early route bugs aren't interesting to me, but Alolas is a fearsome looking beetle with mandibles that blast.
This is honestly horrifying. I hope nothing IRL ever looks something like this, and I'm sure there probably is something that looks like this.
Lightning bolts. Electric is my favorite type, and even if it wasn't, that would still be amazing. Despite Vikavolt's disappointing stats, acrobatic flying maneuvers, and yet you give it only 43 speed? I used it on my playthrough teams in both Sun and Ultra Sun. It's just so fun to hit so hard with it. Before I move on to the next type, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different for this updated version of this video. Only listing my favorite of each type leaves out a lot of Pokemon that I'm quite fond of. So after I show you my favorite of each type, I'll list a few honorable mention Pokemon for that type as well.
Fair enough.
So Pokemon I quite like just aren't the favorite of a specific type. Also, I should probably mention and clarify, if a Pokemon is listed under one type, it won't appear on another if it's a dual type Pokemon. So my bug honorable mentions are Scyther, Scolipede, Araquanid, and Golisopod. My favorite dark type is Umbreon.
I really don't like Araquanid, but Golisopod's really nice.
I know, it's basic, but it's hard to beat. Umbreon has been my favorite evolution basically always.
I'll let this one slide.
Its design is sleek, the glowing rings looking so cool on its dark body, but it also seems like it would make a good pet, despite being the type called evil type in Japanese. I also got to use it as a kid in Pokemon Coliseum and grew fond of it while playing that. Plus, those of you who watched Pokemon Talk back in the day probably remember how fun the character of Umbreon was.
I know Jolteon and Umbreon.
I need to watch this, by the way. I've been asked to react to Pokemon Talk so many times, so one of these days we'll watch it.
Be a little crazy sometimes.
Oh,
The floor tentacles are drowning me. Okay, maybe more than a little bit.
The dark type honorable mentions are Greninja and Alolan Muck. Greninja is universally agreed to be cool, and Alolan Muck is a significantly upgraded version of Cantonian Muck. Haha! It is I, Grunty
boy.
Have you seen my hat?
No, what happened?
No.
To it?
Well, I can't seem to find it, so I've just been rotating through other hats in the meantime. It's been quite stressful, but I've been de-stressing by playing the sponsor of this video, Empires and Puzzles. It's an award-winning free-to-play game that combines puzzle and RPG gameplay. You match shields to attack, then use your hero's special abilities at the right time to claim victory. I've been having so much fun with it.
Sounds awesome, but how are your hats changing? It's like I blink and you have a new one.
What? I haven't been changing my hats.
That's a different hat.
Have they? You can collect over 400 heroes and travel to faraway lands like Atlantis and Valhalla and build up your own empire in the process. Plus, you can battle in exciting PvP combat. The game also regularly gets exciting updates and new content, like the new season of Loguetown with 5 new Cupid-inspired heroes and 20 stages with 3 difficulty modes. I'm excited for that because I love.
That's a new hat. That reminds me of Ace's hat.
But what I don't love is this weird hat thing they keep changing and it's freaking me out.
Just stop wearing the hat. Do you really need it for your identity?
You're one to talk.
Oh, it's his OG hat.
Harsh, yet fair.
Anyways, be sure to download Empires and Puzzles using one of the links in the description below. Now I just need to figure out how to fix this hat. Oh, my hat's back to normal. I must have figured out the true meaning of hatmas. Or this was random and meaningless. Ta-ta!
My favorite dragon type is Rayquaza. After all,
Team Sky!
I am the leader of Team Sky. I did like Rayquaza long before Team Sky was a thing, though. I used the one from my first Ruby file extensively, and beating the league with one in Emerald was an experience I'll never forget. Plus, even without the nostalgia, it's just insanely cool. Easily the most legendary-looking legendary, with an S-tier shiny as well.
Pretty good.
Of course, with how fun Team Sky has been these last couple years, it's made me love Rayquaza even more. The Dragon honorable mentions are Flygon, Salamence, and Dragonite.
Pretty solid options.
2 cool pseudos and a cool one that should have been pseudo. My favorite electric type is Zebstrika. Zebstrika is not a particularly popular Pokemon, which I find strange. It's a zebra, a cool animal that's
It is a pretty cool one.
been my favorite since
I just love Gen 5 Pokemon.
basically birth with lightning bolt stripes. A surefire way to make something look cool is to put lightning bolts on it. Well, actually, maybe not your car. That sounds tacky. Oh, Zebstrika was a staple member
not
of my
Lightning
first
McQueen!
playthrough, but I haven't really used it at all since. That's not really my fault, though. Do you know the last time you could get a Blitzel or Zebstrika in a Pokemon game
I can't remember. When was the last time?
before beating the main story? Yeah, it was Black 2 and White 2, the
That is actually in-fucking-sane.
generation the Pokemon were added. It's only post-game in Gen 6, and then hasn't been obtainable anywhere since then. It's one of the very few
Yeah,
Pokemon
I don't even think you can get it in Legends EA, no? I don't recall. I don't know. Maybe somebody can correct me.
left that is wholly unobtainable on the Switch. I can't believe I celebrated the return of Go-Goat when my beloved Lightning Zebra has been gone for even longer. Although when it returns, if it does so with an evolution, I'm willing to wait longer. Because my god, does it need one. The honorable mentions for electric are Luxray, Lantern, and Jolteon. My favorite fairy type is Alolan Ninetales.
DLC? Oh, okay. I was in the DLC of Scarlet and Violet. I didn't play it, so.
Many fairy types I love, or even like at all.
She's so bonita. Alolan Ninetales, so bonita.
But I adore this Pokemon. I never really cared
So
for
good.
Cantonian Ninetales, but Alolan Ninetales is majestic and cute and very fun to use in battle. It was on my Ultra Sun team, and once I had it on my team in my Ice-only playthrough last year, things got a lot easier. It was my favorite regional form when introduced, and nothing's topped it since. My only
It's a really solid one.
fairy type honorable mention is Grimmsnarl. Like I said,
I know there's people who are like, Grimmsnarl's so ugly, and I'm a little biased, maybe because I played the deck in the TCG, but Grimmsnarl's pretty cool. I think it's a fairy type, but it doesn't look like one, which I think is silly, and I love it.
there aren't many fairy types I like, but I like Grimmsnarl because it's ugly.
He's so ugly.
Yes!
I'm sorry, that was
Yes!
harsh. I just like that it breaks the traditional mold of what a fairy type is, either being
Took the words right out of my mouth.
cute or pretty. Grimmsnarl is kind of nasty, mean, and scary looking, yet it's still a fairy type, and I think that's awesome. My favorite fire type is Talonflame. A lot of what I love about Talonflame is, of course, Talonflame itself. Birds of prey are the coolest kinds of birds, and Talonflame is one of those that lights on fire. How could you not adore that? However, what made me truly love Talonflame was using it back in Gen 6. I basically always had one in my party to hatch eggs, but I had others that I used for competitive
Flame
battling.
buddy.
The Gale Wings one that was part of a team that both got me a 50 streak at the Battle Mason and 24th of over 200 people at the only VGC regional I ever competed in. I have a lot of
And
nostalgia
that's pretty
for this
sick.
spicy bird, and that is carried into today. The fire honorable mentions are Arcanine, Typhlosion, and Torkoal. My favorite fighting type is Grapple.
Torkoal love. Oh, Graplocked.
I loved this octopus the instant it was introduced because it includes two of my favorite design features, being blue and yellow. Well, kind of yellow, kind of lime green. I think the actual area
it's
but
yellow.
the border is green, which makes it look lime green. I'm not really sure. And having a
I
mask
see
around
yellow.
its eyes. My mascot Mighty has both of those design aspects, which are there because I like them so much. So I guess you could say that Grapple-Locked is what Mighty would look like if Mighty was an octopus. Well, okay, maybe not. Distant cousins? Back to Grapple-Locked, though.
They're somewhat
I really just
related.
think it looks cool and has a spectacular shiny as icing on the cake. I
Oh my god, this shiny's so good.
really wish it was better, though. Being water type, any amount of bulk or speed, better attack. It's really bad. Like, I used it on my team and it was fine, but like anywhere outside of a playthrough, it is, I think PM7 said it's like the worst fighting type in the history of Pokemon.
That's so sad.
My fighting type honorable mentions are Blaziken, Breloom, and Phalanx. My favorite
Phalanx! My babies! All 6 of them.
flying type is Gyarados. There are honestly quite a
Team
lot of flying
Sky!
types that I love. Go Team Sky. But they ended up as the favorites for other types, like Talonflame and Fire. Since there was another water type I really wanted to put for water, Gyarados ends up as the favorite for the flying type. I've always been
Fair.
fond of Gyarados, but my true admiration for it is more recent thanks to, you guessed it, Team Sky! Gyarados has been on all but one of the Team Sky squads. Totally could have been on the first one, I was just dumb. And it was a super important team member every time. Sometimes even being the best member above legendaries. Team Sky is just
So
such a
good.
big, fun part of everything I do here on YouTube now.
Oh.
And Gyarados has been a big part of that, so it fits perfectly as my favorite flying type. Even though it can really only learn bounce. My flying honorable mentions
Fair.
are Charizard, Corviknight, and Rowlet.
Corviknight is peak.
My favorite ghost type is Marshadow. I don't have any nostalgic
Who remembers Let Loose Marshadow during the Sun and Moon TCG era? That shit was disgusting.
attachment to this Pokemon. After all, it's mythical, so you could only get it randomly from events. I honestly wish it was weaker and not mythical though, so I could use it on a playthrough team. It's so darn cute, and the way it flares up with energy when its fighting spirit is activated is awesome. Hopefully I'll end up with one in a randomizer someday.
Willing
My
to give
Ghost
Pokemon Unite a try? I've played it a few times. I want to play with chat. I really need to play with chat.
Honorable mentions are Gengar, Golurk, and Annihilate. My favorite
Ooh, Golurk.
grass type is Sceptile. You probably knew this one.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I haven't really talked about it in a while. Sceptile was my first ever Pokemon, and thus my favorite Pokemon to this day. I love lizards, and this is an extra cool lizard that slashes with leaf
Big
blades and helped me fall in
lizard.
love with Pokemon all those years ago. My grass honorable mentions are Tropius, both forms of Decidueye, and
Ooh.
Gogoat. My fondness of Gogoat is quite recent, like within the last year. It was really strong in my Y randomizer, and then it was my first shiny in my 50 Days Scarlet video. So we'll see if that carries over the years. My favorite ground type is Gliscor. I've really liked this cool creature of the night for many years, but I've grown extra fond of it as an adult. I love its menacing and mischievous smile, claws,
It's
and
a goofy
dark wings,
guy.
making it this fearsome night predator exemplified.
I also liked, was it Ash that had a Gliscor in Diamond and Pearl? I'm pretty sure Ash had one. Ash's Gliscor was pretty silly too.
I didn't new Pokemon Snap. I also never had the chance to use it when younger, but I've gotten to a lot more as an adult, which has been fun since it's quite good. Also, its shiny is blue and yellow. My ground honorable mentions are Torterra, Groudon,
pretty
and
thematic.
Garchomp. My favorite
Yes, Garchomp, my goat. I love Garchomp.
ice type is shiny Hail Form Cast Form.
That is very specific. That is so specific.
If you've been around, you knew this one. It's a
Yeah.
form of my beloved cast form that is blue and yellow, spawned the phrase "Hail yeah," and doesn't have an inappropriate front side. I simply adore it. Although,
What's so inappropriate? That you are all dirty-minded.
if it doesn't count because it's an alternate form of a Pokemon that's going to show up later in this video, spoilers, then I guess instead I'll pick Spheal. The cute
Okay.
round boy. What else is there to say? My honorable mentions for the ice type are
Good answer.
Lapras, Zen Mode, Galarian Darmanitan, and Arctivax.
Oh,
My favorite
Zen
normal
Mode.
type is
Galarian Darmanitan's pretty silly.
Surprise cast form. Defending a cute Pokemon that no one else really likes will certainly get you attached to it. It's got an admittedly awkward front side and is hopelessly
Yeah.
useless in battle, but hey,
Just
it's
straight
super
70.
cute and has goggles, and changing with the weather is really cool. Definitely cooler as a pet than in battle, but its stats didn't allow for battle usefulness anyways. My
Fair.
normal honorable mentions are Tauros, Staraptor, and Snorlax. My favorite poison
Okay.
type is Crobat. This is yet another flying type I've liked since I was a kid. It's a massive upgrade from Golbat, both in power and looks, and it's just so sleek and fearsome. I feel like I use that word to describe Pokemon a lot, although I also use cool a lot. I just like cool and fearsome Pokemon. I've also used
Guys,
Crobat more
those are
times than I
not
can count
boobs
because
on cast form. Those are not boobies. Oh. Oops. 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 I clicked on that on accident. My bad.
I not only like how it looks, but it's also quite good and strong. So I'm sure I'll use it again. My poison honorable mentions are Nidoking, Clodsire, and Seviper.
Clodsire. He's a baby.
My favorite psychic type is Armarouge. The only Gen 9 Pokemon to earn
Oh.
a top spot is the one I was most intent on using on my team once it was
Interesting.
revealed. Hence why I chose Scarlet and why I didn't go for Skeledirge despite it being my favorite of the new starters. Armarouge has a banger color scheme and its design makes it look like a buff, strong warrior. And then it makes a cannon? Come on, that's so awesome.
It is pretty
I know
awesome.
Ceruledge is more popular, but I'm
Yeah, I'm a Ceruledge Glazer, but Armarouge is pretty cool.
always going to be an Armarouge guy. My psychic honorable mentions are Gallade and Hisuian Braviary, but I should specify that Hisuian Braviary is here primarily because of its incredible shiny. My favorite
It's
rock
so
type is
good.
Gigalith. It's basically an awesome walking tank covered in vibrant red spikes, almost like a rock type Metagross. It just looks so fearsome. I did it again. It looks cool. I've said cool a lot though. Whatever, it's both. Also, its shiny is yet another fantastic one. My rock honorable mentions are Archeops and Garganicle. My favorite steel type is Metagross. I did just say my favorite
okay.
rock type looking like a rock type Metagross was a reason it was my favorite, so this shouldn't surprise you. It's
Yeah,
a
it
robot with
doesn't.
a badass X on its face that turns silver and gold when shiny. Plus, it's a
Really good
pseudo-legendary,
shiny.
meaning if you use it, you're gonna have a great time. Whenever I see Metagross, I wish they would make another pseudo-legendary that was not dragon type, because they have proven they can make really cool Pokemon that are not dragons that are also super strong. My steel honorable mentions are Scizor, Aggron, and Aegislash. And finally, my
Aegislash
favorite
is good.
water type is Swampert. The Hoenn trio
Okay,
of starters
yeah.
is my favorite starter trio, partially due to nostalgia.
Swampert's
but
just
also
really
because it's
good
one
in
of only
general.
two where I feel they
That makes a
nailed
lot of
all
sense.
three. Blaziken was just shy of being my favorite fighting or fire type due to stronger attachments to Grapploct and Talonflame, but there are not any water types that I like more than Swampert. To me, it's so
Fair.
impressive that they took a weird animal like the Mud Skipper and made it such a cool Pokemon that is also really strong.
That's what it was
Surfing an
based off
earthquake
of?
in
That's fucking ugly.
back in Gen 3 was so much fun, and Swampert is definitely my favorite water starter to this day. All this praise does not apply to Mega Swampert, though.
We'd like to just forget that Mega Swampert exists, all right?
What were they thinking? And my water type honorable mentions are Squirtle, Ludicolo, and Dracovish. Thanks so much for
Poor Dracovish. Oh, man.
watching, with an extra special thanks to my patrons over on Patreon who are helping support my channel independent of fluctuating YouTube ad rates. If you want to help support me in the same way, the link's in the description below.
Yippee!
If you want to check out some more of my fun Pokemon content, I recommend these videos here. But that is all I have for now. So till next time, fans. Gotta catch
Gotta
them
catch them all. Sick! Yeah, Mega Swampert doesn't exist. We like to pretend Mega Swampert does not exist. Hi, Sai, flying to Mexico City tomorrow for Digimon Finals. Wish me luck. Good luck! Good luck! Anyways, chat. Sorry for the short stream today. I do have an appointment coming up within the next hour and a half or so, so I do have to get ready for that. But I will be streaming tomorrow. We'll be doing the punishment wheel tomorrow. I owe you guys a lot of punishments. we'll spin on punishment. Yes, I worded that 100% correctly. So I'll be live tomorrow around noon, hopefully. So I will see you guys all very soon tomorrow then. If you haven't done so yet, go join my Discord server. Follow me on my socials, Poseidon Mythos on everything. And yeah, let me start the timer really quick so we can resume it tomorrow. And we have 9 hours left, so hopefully we can get this subathon over in 2 more streams. Alrighty, gamers, shipwrecks. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.